I want it bad.
Well, congratulations. Get a life.
Saturday morning, join Bullwinkle J. Moose and his bully buddy, Saddam Hussein, for the madcap misadventures of Iraqi and Bullwinkle.
The United Nations is about to speak.
Who cares? Give me that crystal ball.
Reckon he got up on the wrong side of the bunker. Perhaps a poem will help. Saddam, you're one whacked out dude. And just like your oil, you're smelly and crude.
Hey, Moose, did you see your squirrel friend?
Oh, you mean Rocky? Sure, he's over there. And over there, and over there. Oh my, Rocky! What do you know about this, Saddam?
Don't ask me. Ask my auntie.
Auntie? Auntie who?
Anti-aircraft.
Oh no!
Join us next time for Oil's Well That Ends Well or Kiss Your Gas Goodbye.
Hey, Moose, what's weather forecast for today?
Balmy.
Uh-oh.
Iraqi and Bullwinkle, Saturday morning on Nickelodeon.
Well, let's hear it for George and the great job he did last week. Come on. Come on, let's get with it. Oh! There you go. 1,688 votes on your poll. Pretty heavy duty.
Yeah, it was the weekend, though.
Who's been the worst president of the last 100 years, George asked on Friday, in between talking about it's an ussy. Huh?
That's a new one.
Well, what do you mean it's a new one? We have to censor our language on the air. We don't want to get,
Don't we have balls?
Isn't that? Oh, don't be saying that. We'll get to that momentarily.
Okay,
and of course,
sorry.
I tried to, before I started on the air today, I tried to get the definitive word from Muff, who has no balls, and we all know that. But but in fact, I said, what's the story? Is that billboard up or down? He went like that. But we'll get to that story. As Wacky Jackie Thompson's after it again. He's after the Hurricanes, and he's after the Dolphins, and after the Panthers. Only the Hurricanes caved in. Donna Shalala calling up Greg Reed. That billboard's disgusting. We got balls. I hate to break the news to you, Donna, but every sports station in America, I only wish that we could take the credit for being original enough or not, since promotion is not our middle name. But every sports station in the country uses that in their advertising. We got balls, And here's the woman that was Secretary of HHH under President Blowjob, and she's all offended because we got the UM logo on a billboard that says WQ and we got balls. Oh, my God, Donna. I bet you Janet Reno's got bigger balls than Greg Reed, don't you think?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, Greg, if you cave into this, seriously, you talk about ussy. Well, that's right, I can say it. He's a pussy is what he is.
Right.
See, there are times you can say it and times you can't say it. And you can't say it.
No.
Because if you say it, we know what you're thinking about. WQM General Manager Greg Reed said the station will grant Shalala's wish by either removing UM's logo or taking down the billboard. Oh, my God. So I think, I told Muff, I think what we ought to do is take that billboard, put a big picture of Greg Reed on there with some duct tape over his mouth, and it just says WQM, no balls. Isn't that a good idea?
Sure.
If he caves into that, this is a man, every time somebody farts, he's ready to throw in the towel. Okay, whatever you say. Wow. Anyway.
Yeah,
good thing he's not over there in the outskirts of Baghdad, you know what?
Embedded.
Oh, don't get me started. I'm going to get to that momentarily. If I hear that word one more freaking time,
Embedded.
That embedded crap. So how about that Michael Moore at the Oscars last night?
I've invited my fellow documentary nominees on the stage with us. And we would like to, they are here in solidarity with me because we like nonfiction. We like nonfiction, and we live in fictitious times. We live in the time where we have fictitious election results that elects a fictitious president. We live in a time where we have a man sending us to war for fictitious reasons, whether it's the fictition of duct tape or the fictitious of orange alert. We are against this war, Mr. Bush. Shame on you, Mr. Bush. Shame on you.
How do you like that?
Oh, you didn't get to the best part.
Vamp for about, what do you mean?
About the Pope.
At any time, you've got the Pope and 66 against you. Your time is up.
You got to hold something back.
Oh.
See, you never learn, do you? Got to hold a little good stuff.
Sorry.
Hey, vamp for me for 15 seconds, okay? I guess they're cleaning out in the hallway, and it sounded like somebody was like coming in the door.
Oh, no. Not a home invasion.
Maybe we could have a guest on the show, huh? Maybe it's Suds. 1,688 votes on your poll from Friday. Who's been the worst president of the last 100 years? George W. Bush wins hands down your pants.
Oh!
Let's hear it for the W. Meister.
In spite of the Freepers.
776 votes, 46%. Say W was the worst president of the last 100 years. And you know what? Anybody that voted for that?
Absolutely correct, sir.
Not even close. And the poll wasn't close either.
By any standard.
Jimmy Carter, 208. Bill Clinton, 188. Bubba, with the blue dress on. George H. Bush, George Herbert Walker Bush, 113. Read his lips. Ronald Reagan, 104. He forgot how good he was. Richard Nixon, only 103. How do you like that? You know what that is, though, don't you?
And
well, no, it's the age factor.
Right. They don't.
Don't you notice as you go down the list? I mean, let's face it, we don't have that many 110-year-olds listening.
Right.
A few. Lyndon B. Johnson. See, look at the drop-off from Nixon to Johnson. Nixon, 103. LBJ, only 49. The man that helped us bring 58,000 kids back in body bags from Vietnam, only 49 for LBJ. How soon they forget. Gerald Ford, 35. Herbert Hoover, 34. Warren G. Harding, 24, in the Teapot Dome. Remember that?
No.
Teapot Dome scandal?
No.
And then he died. He gave us Silent Cal. Calvin Coolidge. I know my presidents, mister. I don't know anything else. John F. Kennedy, 17. You know who those people all were that voted? Yeah, all your people. Comunista. William Howard. Now, well, this is so inane, you know, these polls. William Howard Taft had 12. What can you tell me distinguishing about William Howard Taft?
Didn't he have a mustache?
Yeah.
All right.
He had a big fat head and a big mustache.
That's it.
And Teddy Roosevelt replaced him, who had glasses and a big fat head and a bigger mustache. William Howard Taft had 12. I have no idea why. Calvin Coolidge, 9. Franklin Roosevelt, 5, which
whatever.
Harry Truman had 4. Woodrow Wilson, 3. Dwight Eisenhower had 3. And Teddy Roosevelt had only 1. So you take those bottom several there, and they're like, well, all of them after Johnson are small potatoes. Mm-hmm. Even after Nixon, they're all small potatoes. So there's what the audience says. George W. Bush, the worst president in the last 100 years. And, of course, that's unpatriotic to say that because the American people, so many of them are so... And listen, I can't blame them in large part because, first of all, their education sucks. And, number two, the media. You talk about propaganda and brainwashing. You can't complain about the coverage of the war on the American news networks, including the cable networks, because basically there isn't any.
No, you're just making that up.
You have 30% news and 70% propaganda because we've got all these guys embedded.
All right.
That's right, they're embedded. So they have no objectivity, no credibility. They're part of the caravan that's, on the one hand, showing them just barreling through the desert unimpeded. And then you turn over to the BBC or the CBC, and they're saying, well, guess what? Al-Qasr is not in alliance hands yet. What do we call it now? Is it the alliance? Is it the
coalition?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Used to be the allies. Now it's the coalition because there's only basically 2. Australia's got a few in it, and there's 70 Polacks. That's it. It's America and Britain against the world. 80,000 people marched in Toronto here on Saturday against the war. 200 and some thousand in New York. Hundreds of thousands, probably over 1 million people all around the world marching, protesting every day.
Oh, yeah.
Are they listening?
I saw that on the news. Not.
Did you?
No.
Well, you see a lot of it on the BBC and the CBC because they're actually showing objective news as opposed to propaganda. And anybody out there, this is just a little viewing tip. You do what you want. It's a free country, at least as of this moment, to a point. But if you want to find out what's going on in the world, do not watch CNN. Not just because I hate CNN, because they're trying to outright wing even Fox. I mean, they're so militant now, they're like shooting each other on camera. Hey, I got you, Wolf, you know. But they're so far behind. They're so far behind even MSNBC that it's laughable. And here they claim that they're the worldwide news network. They're like an hour to an hour and a half behind everything. And I will say this, thanks to me, last week, well, when the hell was it? It was a week ago Friday already? No, it couldn't have been. It was this last Friday. That's right. I keep thinking I'm confused because I sat in here and I interrupted the show, which I apologize for profusely.
Why? It was great. Everybody loved that.
And I faxed you the information from City Pulse News here in Toronto. I faxed you because they had it on before anybody that the shock and awe and all this other crap was going to start within the hour.
Schlock and flock.
So you had it on before even the networks had it on.
Right.
And sure enough, I think we had it on about 11:15, and like about 10 past noon, La Bamba, man, the big one started dropping. So how do you like that? WQAM with our vast news resources around the world. We beat everybody on that. Now we got another one of these Tommy Franks deals. Come on, speak, Tommy, speak. And he don't want to say anything. Well, you can see there's zero in on target.
I thought it was on your end.
We found a number of these aircraft in a variety of places, including in some cases near cemeteries. The second image is an air...
Well, we don't want to do images on a radio, do we? Probably not a good idea. Okay, before we get to all the other good stuff and my feelings about this outrageous, illegal so-called war, before we talk about that, and let me just tell you right now, you can say whatever you want. It's a free country, all right? But if you think you're going to convince me, you're going to be in a very, very sorry state by the time you hear the dial tone, because it ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. Nobody's going to sell me on this. Well, they're finding these weapons of mass destruction now, these chemicals. They found and as if we didn't know they got weapons of mass destruction. You know, just think of the irony about us using as an excuse for invading Iraq the fact that we know that they have weapons of mass destruction. First of all, number one, they got them from us. Mm-hmm. Number two, while these gigantic explosions, these enormous cruise missiles are blowing off in Baghdad, blowing up all these buildings, while innocent people are dying, thankfully not as many as might have been so far, but there will be on both sides. And we're talking about weapons of mass destruction. If it wasn't so pathetic, it would be amusing. It would be hysterically funny. Like yesterday, the righteous indignation about, they're violating the Geneva Convention the way they're treating our prisoners of war. And I should tell you, the BBC and the CBC both showed all of the footage, okay? And yes, the bodies, it was grisly, it was disgusting. But guess what? Haven't we all seen the pictures of the American troops being dragged naked through the streets of Somalia? Mm-hmm. Haven't we seen those a million times?
Yeah.
Haven't we seen the treatment by the Americans? In fact, Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch both have condemned the United States for our treatment of the Taliban prisoners in Gitmo, have they not?
Sure.
Didn't we have the one prisoner down there who died after allegedly being tortured? Interrogated?
Right. Question.
Yeah.
Interviewed.
Let me do the break, okay? See, now you're getting me all worked up. Then we'll get to today's poll, and I'll listen to some of the stuff from these people, and we also will throw on, as soon as they get done with this propaganda conference here, we'll throw on some of the real news. But I'll tell you one more time, and it's not any one of them. It's not just Fox with their right-wing propaganda, which I don't watch, and I couldn't get it here anyway. I don't want to see it. It's all of them. The three commercial networks, CNN, MSNBC, it's 90%. I said 70. I was underestimating. 90% propaganda, 10% news. And this business of being embedded with the troops, what a wonderful way. You know, like Bob Arnott says on MSNBC, well, you know, we spend so much time with these individual soldiers, we get to know them, we have a personal feeling for them. Well, so where's the objectivity going to be? There's no news coverage in there. And while they're showing David Bloom roaring with the tanks through the desert, in the meantime, we're only seeing, even Rumsfeld admitted, we're only seeing slices of what's really going on. You're damn right we are. Because while all the butchery is going on in Basra and all these other places, Al-Qasar, all that stuff, we're not getting to see that. So you're getting selective coverage from the embedded journalists who have you get the picture, don't you?
No.
I'm sure you will. 913 at 560 WQM. If you're still reluctant about ordering a bed over the phone, I can't imagine why, because over 1 million people have done it, including me, and hundreds more are doing it every week from our friends at Dial a Mattress. We talk about Dial a Mattress all the time because they're the best in the business, and every day when you wake up in the morning, if you had a great night's sleep, you feel a lot better. Call 1-800-MATTRES right now, and you'll have a great night's sleep guaranteed from the good folks at Dial a Mattress. They got the best in the world, too, all the top brands, no off brands. They've got Sealy, Serta, Simmons, King Coil, every size and style imaginable. They're ranked number 1 customer satisfaction, too. They got more repeat and referral customers than anybody else because they know how to treat you right. And once you buy a mattress from Dial a Mattress, you'll never go back to schlepping around to those bedding and department stores to get ripped off again. And don't forget, when you do buy from Dial a Mattress, they set up the brand new one and take away the old bedding for free. You heard me right. Dial a Mattress sets up the new bedding and takes away your crappy, old, smelly, soiled, stained bedding for free. So make the easy call now. You'll get a great night's sleep for months and years to come. Call 1-800-MATTRES, 1-800-MATTRESS for our friends at Dial a Mattress.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560, QAM.
You're a bastard.
Saddam Hussein's a motherfucker. Saddam Hussein's a motherfucker. Saddam Hussein's a motherfucker. Saddam Hussein's a motherfucker. Iraq's a crappy little country. Smells like the mustache on his face. Just get rid of that. You're a drinking chubby and blow up the whole goddamn place. Hey, Saddam Hussein's a motherfucker. Saddam Hussein's a motherfucker. Saddam Hussein's a motherfucker. Saddam Hussein's a motherfucker. One time. Saddam Hussein's a motherfucker. Saddam Hussein's a motherfucker. Saddam Hussein's a motherfucker. Saddam Hussein's a motherfucker.
9:18 at 560 WQM. Is it real or is it Sodom? Is it Memorex, huh?
Let's check that mole.
I have to keep chuckling every time we see another one of these videos. He had another one this morning in case you missed it. Another press conference, or not a press conference. Yeah. Another taped address to the Iraqi people. They don't do too many press conferences over there.
No.
Again, the same old business. Well, we don't know when he made this tape. Okay. Maybe he made like 500 tapes. Maybe he's been just taping away, you know? Sounds awful like Deja Vu all over again, doesn't it? Like with Osama Your Mama? Mm-hmm. Is he dead? Is he alive? Then these tapes keep popping up. Anyway, here's our poll today. Which of these statements best describes your feeling about the Iraq attack? Now, maybe more than one of these you might agree with, but which of these statements best describes your feeling about the Iraq attack? 6 choices. It's about liberating the Iraqi people. It's long overdue. Let's roll.
Oh!
It's all about oil and world domination. It's mostly political. It's a grotesque waste of human life. Or Iraq represented no threat to the USA. Well, some good choices on there, you know?
Sure, tough choices.
If you ask me. It's about liberating the Iraqi people. It's long overdue. Let's roll.
Oh!
It's all about oil and world domination. It's mostly political. It's a grotesque waste of human life. Or Iraq represented no threat to the USA. Those are your 6 choices on neilrogers.com. The poll is up now, I believe, or are we just the only 2 that voted? Huh?
I voted.
Well, how come I don't see anything up? Maybe it's only up for us. Oh, that's right, because I didn't read it yet, so maybe Eric hasn't put it up for the general public yet. Let's take a look.
Reload.
Let's take a look, Eric, very slowly, but not so sure. But I don't have time to waste with that. No, it's not. It should be up now, Eric. Sometime like in our lifetime would be good. By the way, what a great job Carlos did over the weekend with our bedtime stories and with that nice little banner on there. Neil's coming back from vacation.
All right.
Since the radio station always does such a great job of promoting things like that. Oh, that's right, we got those billboards, baby. What we do need today is a spy report. No, seriously, since Muff was clueless, as usual. We need a spy report from the audience, that one on 441 north of Sheridan Street, the one that says we got balls. We need to find out, A, if that billboard is still up, and B, if the UM logo is still on there.
I think we're changing it to we had balls.
Yeah, that would be good. We had balls. And don't forget, by the way,
The hurricane fucking blow.
So if there's anybody out there who wonders over the years why I've developed this intense distaste for the University of Miami and everything associated with it, here's another classic example of the kind of blue-nose, holier-than-thou attitude. And it doesn't make any difference whether it's Donna Shalala or anybody that preceded her. It's just the same mentality. Our stuff don't stink, man. Even with the history of crap that's going on in that university. Oh, my God, that's outrageous. It's disgusting. You're right, Wacky Jackie. We got to call Greg and make sure they take us off of it. We don't want to be associated with something as filthy as we got balls. Man. Lighten up just a little, will you, sweetheart? Should we take a call or two, since I see we only got a couple on the board anyway? And then we'll have to get to your big contest there with your hot George Can't Get Laid contest.
Okay.
Here's Miramar. Hello.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Michael Moore for president, man.
Yeah, amen.
Before I forget, Bowling for Columbine out on DVD April 22nd. I pre-ordered mine last night.
Oh, excellent.
Yes. And I don't know what schmucks were booing. I didn't know Schwarzenegger was there.
No, you see, first, let me make sure people understand. Most of those people said afterward that they were booing not his stand on the war or on Bush, but they were booing the fact that it was out of they didn't like the decorum of it. In other words, it was inappropriate because they beseeched them all to keep their mouths shut.
No, it would have been much better for them to plug their new movie coming out on Friday.
That's right. That's exactly right.
You know, and I heard so much crap about artists shouldn't be allowed to protest or say anything, and I thought...
And why is it that who took away their right of freedom of speech? Why can't they make a statement like I can or you can or anybody else?
Which leads me to my next observation about what qualifies as news in this country. The multi-tentacled CC radio company, they're running what they call CC News. But all it is yahoos from all over the country calling in their opinions. Your opinion is not news.
Right.
Unless it's Fox News Channel. Also,
You'll be, if I can interrupt for a second, you'll be pleased to know that Clear Channel Communications over the weekend sponsored in Fort Wayne and 3 or 4 other media markets around the country pro-war rallies, troop rallies by Clear Channel Communication.
Good for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I love to hear what's the community saying about it. I really don't care. I got my own opinion, and which leads me to the other observation about all these generals serving as experts.
Yeah, thank God we got a lot of retired generals and admirals and whatever.
Well, I sat there watching Brokaw, who I think otherwise done a pretty good job, but he's sitting there with 4 retired military guys. And you know what it reminded me of? The NFL Today on Fox.
Yeah.
Same kind of mentality. Well, you just don't know what it's like until you've been there, yada, yada, yada. Then I flip over, that other general, McCafferty, who used to be the drug czar, was on with Katie Couric. She never got to finish a sentence. I kept wishing she would grab him by the groin and say, pal, I make $14 million. This is my sandbox. Let me finish a sentence.
Yeah.
Not that I care what she says, but it just shows what ill-mannered yahoos some of these military guys can be. I want as many of these guys to come back alive as possible.
That's the point. If we support the troops, we should want all the rest of them, the ones who are still alive and in one piece, to come back alive as soon as possible and not continue this butchery and insanity, which is all over first of all, to be talking about they're doing, violating the Geneva Convention and they're doing this illegally and so on and so forth. This war is illegal. This war is in total violation of the UN Convention. It's a totally illegal invasion.
If that was the problem, why didn't we send all the lawyers over there? We sent soldiers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just nonsense. And let's face it.
And also, let me point out, which I'm sure you've seen it over the weekend, they've shown hundreds and thousands of Iraqi prisoners who've surrendered.
Right.
And they've shown them with their hands over their heads and marching, and some of the footage went on for a considerable period of time. Why is it not acceptable for us to humiliate them by putting them on and showing their faces? That's okay, but it's not acceptable for them to put on the faces of the American POWs. I mean, you can't defend what they did. It's grotesque and they're butchers and barbarians, but we do the same thing.
I think the only difference is what they're showing. You're right about the bias. I flipped over to BBC. And you're absolutely right.
It's like a different world.
It is. And it's funny because they're involved. They're on our side, and they don't have problems telling the truth now, do they?
And the best part of it is the CBC, which is not involved in the war, thank goodness. The CBC is the best of them all, the most objective, and they've been ripping the crap out of the American networks. I love it.
That figures. One more thing.
Yes,
if you hadn't noticed, Fox has sent...
I don't watch Fox.
Well, they've sent their dream team over there, Geraldo and Ollie.
Oh, there you go. Now I feel safe. Have a great day.
Fight the power, Neil.
Thanks. Yeah, I can see I'm going to be, you're way out there on the limb, Neil. 75% of the country agree. I couldn't care if it was 95% of the country are buying into this bull crap because the American public is brainwashed. Let me give you one example, real quick example of the kind of behavior the American public is in. And you're dealing with stupid people for the most part. So they had the incident at the hockey game in Montreal a few nights ago where they booed the American national anthem, which was grotesque and unacceptable. And, of course, that's the frogs. I've always told you, the French Canadians, the French in France, the French are pigs. I've always told you that, long before any of this business with the war. And so what happens at the Mac Arena when Ottawa plays there on Saturday night? They play the Canadian national anthem, O Canada, and a lot of those brilliant Panther fans, I shouldn't say Panther fans, they're just assholes in seats, free tickets. And so they respond, if you want to act boorish, well, guess what? We can show you what boorish really is, and we'll put you to shame. So we'll boo O Canada. Now, meantime, Buffalo played the Leafs here in the Air Canada Center on Saturday night with a packed crowd as always. And when they played the American national anthem, not only were there no boos, but the crowd was applauding and cheering and singing the national anthem all the way through. Oh! See, that's the difference. But, of course, Canada, they're not joining with us, so it's all those Canadians. 72% of Canada, by the way, in the polls over the weekend agree with Prime Minister Chrétien. They're opposed to the war, and they're glad he didn't participate.
Yeah, but they're brainwashed.
And that doesn't mean, and you'll notice in these demonstrations around the world, the one theme that's consistent. We don't hate America. We don't hate Americans. We hate George W. Bush and this administration. Just keep that in mind. I know it's very complex for the nimble American mind, and I can see we got one call on the board. This is amazing to me. This is astonishing to me. But the American public just, so brainwashed, and they can't separate the wheat from the chaff, They don't hate the American people, but they hate this administration and they hate what they're doing, which is easy for me to understand. 927 at 560 WQM. All you homeowners out there, is there anything worse than going out to the backyard, especially when it's 100 degrees outside like lately, for a nice refreshing swim? You look into that once beautiful pool of yours and saying, holy crap, what happened here? Your pool is stained, dirty, might be cracking. Well, don't look at that mess anymore. Just say no mo ugly pool and call our friends at Atlantic Marcite. These guys aren't pool guys who run a cleaning service out of a pickup truck. They are a real construction company who uses full-time employees, not subcontractors. Atlantic Marcite specializes in the most incredible innovation at the pool business, Diamond Bright. Atlantic Marcite's been pouring it on for 12 years. They're licensed and insured professionals. They even train other companies internationally how to do diamond brighting right. And they'll give you the same price they give to the contractors. So whether you're in North Miami, Broward, or Palm Beach, call these folks. They do a super job for you. Atlantic Marcite. They're the biggest installers of Diamond Bright anywhere in South Florida. They'll come to you, give you a free estimate with no obligation. They also perform pool and deck renovations, custom lighting, pool heating, exotic water features, too. For the very best, call Atlantic Marside toll-free 1-800-558-8888.
Tarnished with the sewer of this place.
Yes. Why are there so many stars in Hollywood? Pissed off at George Bush Ford.
Too many stars to count.
Look at the factors. These rich liberal actors are mostly opposed to war.
Elmo hates Hollywood.
Sean Penn, Mike Farrell, Martin Sheen, and Charles. Trash talking poor Uncle Sam.
They're yellower than I am.
I'm sick of hearing their bleeding heart cheering. Why don't they go live with Saddam?
Most of them have not made a hit movie in over 15 years.
Why are there so many stars in Hollywood who think we care where they stand?
What Bobby Eagle?
Here's the confusion. They're under the illusion, like Michael at Neverland.
Elmo won't sleep at Michael's house.
Susan Sarandon, Tom Cruise, and Goldie Hawn. Send them all a telegram.
Yeah, put some white powder in it.
Let's finally nip it and tell them to zip it, or have them go live with Saddam.
9:33 at 560 WQM. So the markets that were zooming up there toward the end of the week after the bombing started, just zooming up. The Dow, well, already it's only been open 3 minutes. The Dow's down 119, the Nasdaq's down 35, and they were saying, well, they saw the initial shock and awe, and this is going to be a real clean antiseptic war, and it's going to be a piece of cake, and it's going to be just a cakewalk through Iraq, and we're going to go into Baghdad, and we're going to knock them all off and set up a wonderful democratic government, and that's going to be like that, just like we did in Afghanistan, or not? Not.
Right.
And you see, this takes me back to Vietnam, because it was exactly the same thing. In the beginning, every war, it's always the same. The people are as predictable as the weather on the North Pole. In the beginning, as soon as the first bombs start dropping, everybody jumps on a bandwagon, because again, don't confuse the American people with thinking. Supporting our troops, which we all do, hopefully, supporting our troops is not the same as supporting the government. And supporting the country isn't the same as supporting whatever corrupt administration happens to be in power at this given moment, which is the case right now. And as far as I'm concerned, they're all a bunch of crooks. My feeling at this point is I wouldn't believe anything the American government said under any circumstances. I'd have to triple check it. Whether it was Bush, whether it was Bubba, no matter who, whether it was Tom Daschle with his big stupid mouth, they're all a bunch of imbeciles. They're all a bunch of crooks. And here we have all these people being butchered, these innocent lives, these little children, some of America's finest young people are over there. Sacramento, well, I don't know if they showed the pictures anywhere down there. I guess they showed the still pictures. But if you would have seen the actual interviews of these prisoners of war, they're scared crapless. Which we don't blame them, you know? And maybe the other 5 bodies that they showed there, maybe they were executed. This goes on. This is war, man. This is hell. War isn't a cakewalk. It's not just some wonderful, glorious flag-waving event where you just go in there and roll through, baby. And look at on the poll there. We got 16 people say it's long overdue. Let's roll. Let's roll. War by cliche. Well, we're embedded with 101st. And then how about that episode at Camp Pennsylvania, huh?
Yeah.
All of these crazy things. We shoot down a British plane by accident with friendly fire. Here's a Tomahawk. Oops, sorry, too late. And speaking of missiles, there was a good documentary on CBC over the weekend. Thank God for the CBC. Oh! That's all I can tell you. And it was all about the first Gulf War. About the Scud missiles and the Raytheon Corporation, who manufactured the Scuds. And here was President George Herbert Walker Bush, Bush 41, Bush number 1, whatever you want to call him, which could be a lot of things. And he's on there proudly announcing that thanks to the Scud missiles, we were able to knock down 37 of 39. We intercepted the Scuds that Saddam lobbed. See, I said Fidel. Freudian slip, that Saddam lobbed at Israel.
Yeah.
Then they go to Moshe Aarons, who was the Israeli defense minister at that time. He says, well, that's news to us because by our count, 39 of 39 they missed. They didn't hit any of them. But in the meantime, Raytheon, thanks to the Bush administration, was selling Patriot missiles, and these were the first version, to countries all over the world. They were making millions and millions and maybe billions of dollars on Patriot missiles that in those days, 12 years ago, didn't work. Well, you just keep believing all the bull crap and the propaganda you get from your networks, and, you'll continue being ignorant. And as far as the Hollywood, the reason I played that bit, and the other caller alluded to it, why is it necessary to keep restating the obvious? Are the American people really that stupid?
Yes.
Well, these people have a right to speak, and why do we have to keep doing the disclaimer about, the protesters, they've got a right, yeah, and is that something new? Like every time a bunch of people protest the actions of the government in the USA, we have to keep reminding people, they've got a right to do that. Yeah. Haven't they always had that right? Alleged? Except at Kent State. Well, there were, some accidents there. Yeah. This to me is like Vietnam all over again. And the same thing there. Oh, it's Hanoi Jane, and it's all these bad people, Joan Collins and all these other rabble-rousing, yeah. That was in the beginning. And then years later, 12 years later, when we couldn't get out of there, we had 58,000 kids coming home in body bags. We had to leave with our tail between our legs, finally. Then everybody was onto it. Oh, yeah, then they were all running around marching with peace signs.
They forgot.
I see. Well, I didn't forget. And thank God for people like Mike Farrell and Martin Sheen and some of these other people that have the balls to get up and say, this is a pile of crap. Sure, these people are respected because of the fact, whatever that is that they do, and so they have a right to use their bully pulpit or whatever you want to call it, their forum, to express an opinion. Why the hell not? Who the hell are these assholes in Congress running around like Tom Daschle and all these other, any of them, you pick one, pontificating one day saying what? You should have seen the interview CBC did with John Edwards over the weekend, man. He was foaming at the mouth because they were asking him questions he didn't like. John Edwards from North Carolina with that thing on his lip? Mm-hmm. Well, we got to support our troops and blah, 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 and they have weapons of mass destruction. See, make up your mind. Is it about weapons of mass destruction, which it will be if they find these chemicals turn out to be something evil? Uh-huh. Is it about regime change? Is it about liberating the Iraqi people? It's kind of like a multiple choice war.
Whichever one.
Pick and decide which one of these it's really all about.
Which one do you like best?
I don't like any of them. What I like best is bringing everybody home alive. And stop the butchery, and stop lying to the goddamn American public, and stop doing things for fun and profit for the American Nazi Party, which is basically what we got in Washington that's stolen the goddamn government. Michael Moore is right on target, boys and girls. Right on target. We had an election stolen from the public, right in front of our eyes, and you know something? The bottom line to all of this, speaking of the media coverage, none of it, underline the word none, not one iota of any of the stuff that's happened in the last 2 years could possibly have happened without the American media.
Well,
and I'm not just talking about television. I'm talking about like the Washington Post that's been all gung-ho on this war. The American media, man. So all this crap about, the left-wing bias, it's a bunch of bull crap. Now you got CNN desperately, frantically trying, like I said before, to outright wing the Fox News network because Fox is still whipping their ass. So, everybody out there, please take 2 quick steps to the right. 2 quick goose steps to the right, and then maybe we'll be on target, so to speak. Tommy Franks is pontificating, by the way.
Press. Asian press.
There you go. That's the reason I'm not putting it. No, I'll put some stuff on later when there's new news or something that's going on.
Right.
We'll, have you right on top of it. But he's just pontificating, and again, I'm not knocking him, but, he's doing his job. Just like when they were interrogating those prisoners of war yesterday, and they said to them, what are you doing here? And the response was, I'm doing my job. Why did you come here? I was told to. I'm doing my job. And isn't that sad? And I got a very sad story that somebody faxed me here about one of the first casualties of war. I'll get to that.
Makes you want to cry.
I'm going to ramble on here, man, because, and I see there's a couple of calls here and there. It's typical South Florida response. I don't give a crap. And I also don't give a crap if there's anybody out there that doesn't want, if you don't want to hear it, turn on Dr. Laura and hear her tell that everybody against the war is a communist, bringing back that old crap. I thought other than China, the communists were pretty much all gone. Not according to Dr. Laura, according to China and Cuba, excuse me, anything with a C.
How could you forget?
I'm trying to forget, but Miguel won't let me. 9:41. So when are we going to do that It's an Ussy thing of yours?
It's ready to go as soon as they put it up there. We got some pictures in, so that's good to go.
Well, now how are we going to do that? Because aren't we going to have to do Huh?
It's just another poll. The pictures will go up there. There'll be.
Oh, can't we do that poll tomorrow?
What poll? The who's hot?
Yeah.
We could, but we want to give the prize away tomorrow. The convention starts on Wednesday.
Yeah, but we could do it like in the first hour.
Okay.
Because that'll give the audience a chance to look at the pictures once we get them up there on our website and evaluate them and squeeze themselves a little bit and see which one works the best for them.
Whenever, and give it away tomorrow.
Right.
Okay.
So we'll do that the first hour. Because I don't want to take this poll down right now because
no,
it might
it's not an either
it might be
thing.
a little something more important in terms of public opinion than whether who's got the hottest ass, you know?
No, we don't need to take
And by the
one
way,
down.
speaking of hot ass, you know who looked? I didn't watch the Oscars last night because I was busy watching war stuff. But I did turn it on for a few minutes here and there. You know who really looked good last night? I hate to admit it.
I give up.
J-Lo.
Oh, well, from the next.
No, seriously, she looked really good. I hate to admit that because, good makeup, I guess.
She has a good body.
Now, I'm not just talking about her body. I mean, her nipples, of course, were piercing out through that very tight thing.
I didn't see her face.
But her puss actually looked pretty good, and her face wasn't bad either.
Neil.
9:42. What?
Sorry, hate to interrupt. On the website, on the front page, if you click on the hot couples thing, it's already there, and people can vote on it right now without taking that poll off.
Oh, so they can vote on it separate.
Right.
Yes.
Excellent.
All right.
I'm going to tell you, between Eric and Carlos, man, these guys are just pretty fair. All you fat people out there, there's a great store that's dedicated just to you. I've lost 5 pounds in 3 days, by the way.
Oh!
And you know what I'm doing? I'm doing the Atkins, a very strict Atkins.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, I'm doing a very, very strict Atkins. I've lost 5 pounds in 3 days.
And
I
you're
feel,
walking.
I sound much better. I feel alive.
You look good, too.
I look lovely.
Not good, but better.
From long distance. Anyway, Delights of West Boca is the superstore for the Atkins diet or any low-carb, sugar-free diet. It continues to add new low-carb food products every day of your life. Now, Delights is introducing... How about Petey Lenny? Is he still there, by the way? Delights is introducing 3 new flavors of their low-carb crunchy racket chips and new low-carb brownies bar Carb Control in 4 delicious flavors with only 1 carb per serving. So whether it's Carbolite ice cream, breads, muffins, cheesecakes, pasta and sauces, or any of the other 600 low-carb foods, Delights of West Boca is the place to go, and you can always try it before you buy it. They got a very knowledgeable staff who know dieting inside and out. They're open every day, 7 days a week from 10 to 10. And at Delights, they carry the most complete line of Atkins brand products, the books, the vitamins, the whole schmear, that are always 25% off all day, every day. Atkins Diet is rated #1 in the world, so head for the #1 low-carb, sugar-free store anywhere, Delights of West Boca, and you'll continue to find them on the northeast corner of Glades and 441 right next to Boston Market, or call them toll-free, 1-877-LOW-CARB, or find them on the web at lowcarb.com. Don't forget there's only one Delights of West Boca. It'd be your official Atkins Retail Center.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560. QAM.
Neil, God.
Hello again, everyone, from the Channel 7 News Center. I'm Rick Sanchez with your 60-second Gulf War update. We have some new reports that just came in. They're hard to explain, so let's move to the Middle East war map. Rick's World, if you will, and I'll try to explain.
Rick's World, party on, excellent.
Party on, everyone. I'm your most excellent anchor, Rick Sanchez, and with me, as always, Sally Fitz. Party on, Sal.
Party on, Rick. Called San Pedro lately?
Not since I've been back from Houston. People in the business remember, but fortunately for me, the public has a short memory.
Say, what about that guy you flattened? Is he still in a coma?
Yeah, still in a coma. I'm so glad you brought that up, Sal. Not. Anyway, Hussein blew off a couple more scuds at the occupied West Bank, but those awesome Patriot dudes intercepted.
Kaboom! Kaboom!
As you know, the insane Hussein... Gosh, can I turn an original phrase or what? He has poison gas, but as I squat over Baghdad...
Gas mask alert.
I'll give him a gas of my own.
Hot air out of both ends.
Hussein today said...
Yeah, look at the...
I do not know the secret weapon the Americans have. The 40-foot colossal news anchor with the chapped lips, squatting over my country with the smelly gas. My troops are all fleeing, but for me, I ran. But I couldn't hide.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Party on, Sal.
Party on, Rick.
I'll sit and squat so you worry not. Rick over Iraq for Channel 7 News.
Rumor has it that Rick is embedded with Brian Andrews. 9:48, 12 before 10 at 560 WQAM. So, do we want to give Felipe and his wife the prize now, or should we wait?
We might as well.
It's a formality.
I mean, thank God that this is something you did when you were on, George, because this is your audience. I mean, I don't want to knock any of these very nice people. Bob and Nadine, I'm sure, are nice folks. Monica and her man
just
are
nice, normal, real people there.
Honey and her man, and notice Honey's sitting there with her boobs hanging out.
Sure.
So George got what he wanted, at least half of it. He got a couple of boobs.
Yeah.
And then, speaking of that, Henry and Diane. Henry, who's a mountain of a man, and lovely Diane. Well, so go on the... Oh, I don't want to be cruel, but I mean, see what I'm saying about people? These are hot couples.
They're couples.
Now, how do you vote for these? How do you do? Because I'm going to vote for Felipe.
You should have a little clicky on there.
Oh, you have a little thing on about. You think Monica could use some braces?
I could.
Well, now how do you
That's
vote?
fake.
You have to go to the bottom of the whole thing. Oh, there you go and vote. So that's great. We got 2 polls going on today. Come on, click in there, click in. Let's see how the vote is coming out. Do you think people have voted on this yet?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
Well, how come mine isn't coming up?
I don't know.
I voted. I'm clicking over here, and nothing is happening. I got Felipe. Oh, there we go. Wait a minute. A little slow. Here we go. No, it's just showing me the pictures again. So, 32 votes. Oh, I see. Under each picture, it shows you the votes. 2 votes for Monica and her man out of 32. Bob and Nadine have a pair. Henry and Diane have 3. Honey and her man have 7. And Felipe and wife have 18.
Oh!
What did I tell you, huh?
Sure.
Not that it was all that difficult, but we'll see. I don't want to influence this, you know. I shouldn't have said that. Like I said, I like them all. Don't you?
Right. They're wonderful
people. We found
people.
that there were these incidents where, in one particular case, there was the ambush of American Marines, and 12 were either killed or missing. And perhaps the more complete picture was that the military may have moved in, but had not necessarily taken control of all areas of the community. And I think the journalists who are operating in Doha in particular, interfacing with the military, feel that somehow they've been misled.
See, there we go again. There we go again. The embedded journalists being used by the military to spew propaganda. See, that was from the CBC, by the way. If you could watch 1 hour of the CBC, preferably, or even the BBC, which is okay, but CBC has been sensational. Canadian Broadcasting Corp, CBC News World. They're running 24 hours a day with this. And if you could watch just 1 hour, you'd find out more in that hour than you will the whole rest of the day from your so-called news networks in the US of A. Very sad. 95% spin and propaganda, 5% news. 149 votes on our other poll. Which of these statements best describes your feeling about the Iraq attack? It's long overdue. Let's rule, 38. It's all about oil and world domination, 38. It's a grotesque waste of human life, 34. Iraq represented no threat to the U.S., 18. It's mostly political, 15. And it's about liberating the Iraqi people, 6. Look at all the peoples of the world who need to be liberated, you know? And like I was saying to George before the show today, you'll notice these countries in Africa, so many of them, where thousands and thousands and thousands of innocent people are being butchered. Just butchered.
Right.
By the corrupt dictators, by these evil and corrupt dictators. Of course, they don't have weapons of mass destruction, alleged. See, what irony it is that we're talking about weapons of mass destruction and we're dropping this enormous 3,000 cruise missiles. 3,000. And then those nice 1,000-pound bombs that make the nice... How'd you like the one with the mushroom cloud?
Yeah.
Now stop and think to yourself, we're supposed to be combating terrorism, right? We're supposed to be worried about... We already have this bad image around the rest of the world. Back after 9/11, we had almost the entire civilized world on our side. Everybody was sympathizing with the U.S. Look what's happened to us. Look at this unprovoked attack. And they were right. And in the next year and a half, this administration has been able to parlay that goodwill into the most unbelievably bad will any time I can think of, certainly in my lifetime. The U.S. is hated and reviled around the world. Not the American people, but this government and the way this government's operating. Make no mistake about it. And certainly in the Arab world, as they're seeing these pictures of these gigantic explosions in Baghdad, you can just imagine the kind of foaming at the mouth that's going on. And how about those Turks, by the way, huh?
Oh, they better calm down.
Having trouble controlling our friends, the Turks, man. They're not too happy about those Kurds. They don't want any loose Kurds in way. And so they may, I don't know why it is, but they keep changing the stories. They said there were 1,500 Turkish troops in there on Friday or Saturday, and now they're saying, oh no, there's no Turks in there yet, and we're trying to dissuade them from doing it. They're already in there.
How many?
1,500. Turkish troops. So anyway, this story out of Baltimore.
Yeah.
One of the first American casualties in the war against Iraq is a Baltimore man, and his family shared their feelings about the war on Friday. WBAL TV 11 News broke the story first Friday afternoon that a Baltimore man is among a group of Marines killed in a helicopter crash inside Kuwait that happened late Thursday night. He's identified as Marine Staff Sergeant Kendall Watersby, 29, of Northeast Baltimore. He's based out of Camp Pendleton, California, leaves behind 4 younger sisters and a 10-year-old son who lives in Baltimore. It's sad that this war is going on and that we have to lose so many people over nothing. I can't bring my brother back, but I really miss him, one of the soldier's sisters said. WBAL-TV 11 News reporter Noel Tucker spoke with a Marine's father who lives in Northeast Baltimore, where friends and neighbors were seen sobbing in the streets, sharing their grief with the family. The family spoke with WBAL News Friday afternoon and shared their feelings against the war. As he held a picture of his son, Waterby's father, Michael, said, I want President Bush to get a good look at this, really good look here. This is the only son I had, only son. He then walked away in tears with his family behind him. Kenneth, the Marine's only son, was with the family. A military spokesman visited the family Friday morning to confirm that Watersby had died in the crash. But the family had a feeling since Thursday night he had died in the helicopter, Tucker reported. Waterby's wife saw television footage of the helicopter crash and recognized the identification numbers. The family came to the conclusion that their son, brother, and husband was on the helicopter, and before he left, Watersby told his mother he didn't think he'd be coming home after his deployment. Watersby moved to California with his wife, but has been in constant contact with his son and the boy's mother. Watersby, who played football at Northern High School in Baltimore, was last seen by his son a couple of months ago. According to the family, Watersby didn't talk much about the war, but said it was just something he felt he had to do. There you go. Is there any answer to this? Did any of these people on either side have to die?
No.
How about the 5 people in Syria on the bus that were hit by the missile that went astray? Did they have to die?
No.
Or any of the Brits? You realize that 16, as of yesterday, 16 British soldiers had been killed. None of them by the enemy.
Yeah.
You ready for that?
Aye.
All in friendly fire or other so-called accidents. And you wonder why Canada doesn't want to send any troops? Why we're sitting here basically alone, and these 40 countries that first it was 35, now it's 40. They're countries that you couldn't find on a map, most of them, if somebody held a gun to your head.
Eritrea.
What a joke, yeah. Eritrea's on our side. Don't forget about that. And the Marshall Islands, all of them.
Oh.
Well, I'll get to that. Maureen Dowd's got such a great column, which was it on yesterday, Carlos?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm going to read it. I'm going to read a couple of bedtime stories. And let me just tell you this, as far as this self-righteous indignation, and sure, it was barbaric and grotesque, and it just wants to make you tear your guts out to see the pictures of those American soldiers who were POWs, the ones who were slaughtered and the other 5 who were being terrorized. But, you know, and it's interesting that Rumsfeld and Bush both make the comment yesterday, although they're making the rounds on the news shows, Rumsfeld, and Bush comes back from Camp David and says, well, you know, if we find out who perpetrated these atrocities, if they're not following the Geneva Convention, well, they'll be tried after the war as war criminals. Well, guess where they're going to get tried?
I give up.
In the International Criminal Court, which the United States did not join and was opposed to in the first place.
Oh.
The International Criminal Court, which we don't want any part of. How about that?
Maybe we'll just try him at Gitmo.
I mentioned that in passing. 9:56 at 560 WQM if you want yourself a great pig out before it's too late. The Emerald Coast Chinese buffets are the place you want to head to. You'll find one in Sunrise, North Miami Beach, and their newest location is in prestigious Pembroke Pines. Start your mouth-watering eating experience with 6 different soups and then sample dozens of delicious entrees, Oriental and other, all kinds of good stuff. Everything fresh and crunchy. Oriental surf and turf on the weekends. New York strip steak made to order at the Gourmet Center. That's a sizzling Asian grill with teriyaki steak, shrimp, chicken, seafood, hand-carved prime rib. The Emerald Coast doesn't use any crap either. You'll never walk out of there with a headache, just a full pupik, because they don't use any MSG, no cornstarch, and they cook only with cholesterol-free oils. The buffet features a full salad bar, a new sushi bar, and fresh shrimp cocktail. And Emerald Coast famous Lobster Fest is back featuring lobster thermidors and lobster bisque. One requirement, bring a healthy appetite. Try to save room for dessert because the dessert bar is sensational. Pies, cakes, pastries, ice cream with all your favorite toppings, and fresh fruit. The perfect ending to a gigantic pig out. Emerald Coast, 3 locations, like I said. Sunrise at Pine Island on 44th Street. Collins Avenue just north of 163rd, North Miami Beach. And at the intersection of Flamingo and Pembroke Roads in Pembroke Pines. Emerald Coast accepts reservations. Takeout and delivery available, too. Look for the new Oriental chicken salad when you go to your next pig out at the Emerald Coast. Call 954-572-3822. A lot of imitators, but the original, the Emerald Coast, the best Chinese buffets in the universe.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560. QAM.
It stings in Miami town. At 560 WQAM.
Just like heartburn, showtime.
Wait, look. They don't just have heartburn.
They also have pressure and bloating. That's gas.
Oh, no.
Holy crap! Exactly.
Sorry, guys. They need more than just heartburn relief. They need Maalox Max.
Yeah, Maalox Max and a mop.
Fast heartburn relief plus strong gas relief. Maalox Max.
Does it treat diarrhea? Guess not.
10:01 at 560 WQM. I got the Mad Dog at 1. Hank is doing a show at Shula's this afternoon. 7 o'clock at Chitco Panther Preview. Uh-oh. How about them Panthers, man? Maybe they'll score a goal tonight. What do you think?
No.
Panthers and the Devils at the Mac Arena, 7:30, 80K after the hockey game, and Joe and Mark overnight. That's our agenda. Keep an eye on that. I'm going to watch the regular poll, and you watch that other poll, which I'm sure you probably are watching because you want to take a look at those boobs. I'm just biting my tongue. I have to make some caustic comment. There are more than a couple of boobs in those pictures, but hey, that's, those people think they're hot.
Not necessarily. They just want a free dance pass.
That's right. They figured nobody else would participate, which I told you because we never get any response to that kind of thing because they all know that you're desperate and want to get laid and want to see some naked pictures of hot babes. Yeah, that's all.
Right.
Like last week, he's trolling for Ossie and Itz on the air while the war's going on. I mean, that's just George. He's just desperate. He can't get any. I even faxed Carlos over the weekend with my bedtime story. Says, please, find some slut somewhere, okay, to get this guy laid so we can go back to doing like a radio show instead of him trying to get laid on the air all the time.
You do a lot of talking, but nobody envies your sex life either, except maybe, Duff.
What does that mean?
You get laid, but it's with men, so nobody cares.
So I guarantee I'm getting a lot more action than you are, sweetheart.
But nobody cares. Do you understand?
But
it's like getting laid at odds.
You don't understand. Nobody cares about yours either.
Well, there you go. It's not about me. It's about getting hot pictures on the site.
Yeah. Am I putting hot pictures of guys on a website?
Oh, God.
No. So there you go. I think you lose that one. Anyway, so speaking of Israel, because I was telling you this before the show, we were discussing this morning. Speaking of this outrage about the Geneva Convention and the treatment of prisoners of war and so on and so forth, nobody treats, I'm not going to say nobody, because we don't know. But there are very few countries that treat their prisoners of war more cruelly than Israel does. They not only strip them, but then they blindfold them, they tie them up with ropes, and then they tattoo them, like during the concentration camps with a number on their arm.
I had no idea.
And then, of course, we also have heard, and keep in mind, when the war on terror has been going on, I don't hear too many objections to the fact that when we get some of these Al-Qaeda, some of the real top honchos, some of the real evildoers, we don't necessarily want to bring them back to the U.S. right away or even to Gitmo because we want to have them interrogated in a country where they use different methods other than what we would use because it wouldn't be considered civilized.
Right.
I mean, what difference does it make whether we do it directly or indirectly? We're still using the same techniques, and I have no problem with that. If we have to torture these bastards to get the truth out of them, I don't have a problem with that. But at least be consistent. Don't be crying. It's like this business about, they're not fighting the war fair. They're dressed as civilians and they're driving civilian vehicles, and then they're pretending they're going to surrender. That went on in Vietnam. It went on during the first Gulf War. It will always go on, especially when people are outnumbered and outmanned with the enormous amount of weaponry that we've got. There's no contest. There's no contest. It's like I said before, like an elephant stepping on a cockroach. And all these poor bastards are trying to do is stay alive. That's all. They're trying to stay alive. And the one thing I consistently hear when they interview Iraqis, people who are in this country or some of the people there, they're not, as much as they despise many of them, Saddam Hussein, not all of them, but many of them, what they're most pissed off about is the 12 years of sanctions they've had to endure since Gulf War I.
Yeah.
Just like in Cuba, with the trade embargo, the same kind of crap. So as much as the people in Cuba hate, of course they're brainwashed, but I'm sure plenty of them still hate Fidel.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason that they live the way that they do is because of those trade sanctions. And the same thing that's gone on for 12 years in Iraq, with children not having medication and dying, enormous numbers of people dying, lack of food, lack of medication. So we find people, and of course, it's interesting, this is the same guy who was our guy, he was our evildoer against Iran not that many years ago. Back in the early 80s, it was our bad guy. We propped him up. All the weaponry he got was from us, from Russia, the French, and the Germans, all of it. All the weapons of mass destruction he got from the same folks. Like the president would say, these folks. And yet now all of a sudden we decided he's an evildoer and he's dangerous to us. He represents no threat to this country. The only thing he represents now is a threat to all of those poor men and women over there, Americans and others, Because he's a lunatic, and we know that. Pretty sad, pretty tragic. And, of course, like I said, in the early stages, you're just farting into the windstorm, man, because the overwhelming majority of the public, hey, let's do it. In fact, let's roll. It's tied for first there. It's over to let's roll. Oh. Let's go get those schmata heads. Oh. That's it. Let's go kill them. And, of course, everybody should understand, although I'm sure the media aren't reporting it this way, but the reason that we made that antiseptic attack, so-called, that shock and awe, and only hit those buildings the first night in Iraq was obvious. You know, because we don't want to
kill some people.
That would look bad, you know? If we thought we could get away with it, we'd be dropping nuclear weapons on Baghdad. We don't give a crap about the Iraqi people and never did. Just as long as we let the oil wells standing, that's all we give a crap about. That's the correct answer, by the way. World domination and oil, that's what this is all about. Which of these statements best describes your feelings about the Iraq attack is our question on NeilRogers.com. 239 votes. It's long overdue. Let's roll. 62. It's all about oil and world domination, 61. It's a grotesque waste of human life, 52. Which is an understatement. There isn't one of these people, one of these children, one of these soldiers, there's not one of these people that should be dead. This is a war for nothing. Iraq represented no threat to the USA, 30. It's mostly political, 22. And it's about liberating the Iraqi people, 12. Sure took us a long time if that was the point. You notice how it did change. First, weapons of mass destruction. Right. And then even if they turned it all over, that wasn't good enough because we had to have regime change.
Right.
And then, of course, that was based on the desire to liberate the poor, oppressed Iraqi people that we've been oppressing for 12 years with these goddamn UN sanctions. But now all of a sudden we decided it would be a really good idea and good business, too, to liberate those poor Iraqis and set up a democratic government. You see the soldier, the general, who's going to be heading up the government?
No.
Let's see, I got it here somewhere. I got so much. Here it is. No, that's not it. I'll find it. I got a million. Here it is. Retired general from Orlando area. I guess they didn't want to put him on MSNBC or Fox or CNN. He's got to do something.
He's going to lead the occupation?
That is correct. It says many people put off home improvement projects out of procrastination or laziness. Jay Garner of Windermere has a better excuse. He has to rebuild and run Iraq after the war. Retired Army Lieutenant General Garner and his wife Connie bought their $1.1 million home on the Butler chain of lakes in West Orange County community only a few months ago. That's Orange County, Florida, up by Orlando. The three-star Lieutenant General was just beginning to modify the boat deck at his new home when President Bush appointed him as military governor of post-war Iraq.
Oh!
I'm going to be away for a while, Garner casually told his family friend, Renee Keene, 35 of Keens Point. I have to do a little work for Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld, a.k.a. Hermann Goering. He was very nonchalant about it, Keene said Saturday. Real casual. Jay is very down to earth, very humble. You never know he was a three-star general. If Iraqi leader Saddam Hussein and his Ba'ath Party are ousted, Garner's role would be to pick up the pieces of post-war Iraq and set the stage for an interim Iraqi authority to take over government operations. Until an Iraqi leader steps in, he would govern 23 million Iraqis, distributing food, medicine, and shelter, and yada, 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 and that too. How do you like that, huh? Then, of course, that was that guy. We had the story on the website over the weekend that everybody was looking for. One of the new most wanted. In fact, he even knew Jose Padilla. Remember that? Oh, remember that Ashcroft hysteria about Jose Padilla, who turned out to have a briefcase with 5 newspapers in it or something? Turned out to be totally bogus. Well, this guy from Miramar is the new one. It always comes back to Florida. I was just shell-shocked, so to speak.
We're attacking Miramar next.
It could be next. I'm hearing that we're invading Massachusetts after we get Iraq taken care of. Too many damn liberals there.
Needs of the civilians. I can't stress enough the concern that there is here now among the American leadership that one of the main planks of their campaign was the military racing forward to surround Baghdad, but immediately in behind them would come the supplies, the medicines, the drugs needed for wounded civilians, the water supplies, the generators to get electricity up. Food, which is vital in the region, and none of this now looks like it's going to get through, and none of it looks like it's going to get through for quite some time. Demining operations in the waterways are taking a lot longer than people thought, and these pockets of opposition mean it's impossible for civilian and humanitarian workers to move in the area. And as your reports show, there's now anger on the part of the civilians. And this was what the United States was hoping when they got their campaign started, was that they would be able to go into a country that was happy to see their soldiers, see them as liberators, and see them as protectors. And now they're concerned they may not be able to get that edge.
How do you like that? That's from the CBC, of course, where you get the real news of what's really going on, as opposed to propaganda nonstop, all spin all day. See the difference?
No, that's just Canadian propaganda.
11 past 10 at 560 WQAM. We got balls on this show, baby. Maybe Greg Reed don't have any balls. Now, we never got any spy report about that. Of course, I'm not taking these damn calls. Well, we'll get to some calls. But we need a spy report on that one billboard to see whether we left the UM thing on there. If we take that billboard down altogether, I'm going to pay personally out of my own pocket for a billboard that has Greg Reed's face on it. Says, a man with no balls. Seriously. If he caves into freaking Donna Shalala and the freaking University of Miami and a bunch of blue noses, it's going to be a sad, sad day in North Dade County at the QAM compound as he continues to compound our problems. 12 minutes after 10 at QM. Did I just give the time?
No.
It was 11 after. Well, it keeps changing.
12 after.
Do you have $2,000 or more on a credit card? If so, listen very carefully, please. Dedicated consumer counseling will help you. It'll cost you nothing. That's right, it'll cost you nada, as in not a cent. Dedicated is a non-profit company that'll contact the companies you owe money to, and they'll cut your payments in half. Call toll-free 1-800-4-NO-DEBT. That's 1-800, the number 4, and the letters NODEBT, and Dedicated will help you cut your interest rate, eliminate late fees, and save your credit. It'll cost you nothing. The bank pays Dedicated, you pay zero. So if you're tired of battling credit card debt, call Dedicated at 1-800-4-NO-DEBT. Call and find out how Dedicated can help you. You got nothing to lose. If you've had it with credit card debt, high interest rates, and late fees, call Dedicated Consumer Counseling, and they'll be handling it from there. Call right now, toll-free, 1-800-4-NO-DEBT. And don't forget, it costs you nothing.
Live and local. This is 560. The radio's all yours now. QAM.
America loves to watch boobs and butts and boinking.
Yeah.
All right.
If there's ever a doubt, we should just take him out. Hussein. Go to Baghdad downtown. Blow it to the ground, Hussein. He just lies full of flies, hope he dies, Hussein. How a ass you can kiss, you wanna inspect this, Hussein. If we had a vote, your mother looks like a goat, Hussein. He just lies full of flies, hope he dies, Hussein. He's insane. Cause we have the knack to destroy Iraq, Hussein. He just lies, he likes guys, hairy thighs. Oh my God. Hussein. Don't you try and deny, say bye-bye.
Oh!
Hussein.
10:17 at 560 WQAM. Just countdown. So let's take a look at our Hot Couples Contest pool. Now, what does the winner get?
An all-access pass to the convention that's going on starting the 26th at the Deauville Hotel, the Lifestyles Convention.
Well, what happens at the convention? Everybody gets laid?
Well, among other things, yeah.
That's why you're going.
I'm going because we have an appearance.
Yeah, I know why you're going. Anyway, and what else?
And that's it. And then the runners-up get a pass to one of the dances because they have ongoing dances throughout the convention, different themed dances, as it were.
They get a pass to a dance?
Well, it's the runner-up prize. The grand prize is almost $500.
Well, what does that mean, a runner-up to a dance?
The runner-up to the contest gets a pass to one of the many dances. They cost money, you know.
It's the usual QAM chintzy stuff except for the big prize. Okay.
Right.
Well, I think it fits, though. I think it's appropriate. So let's see how it's going so far. Felipe and his wife have 43 votes, over half of the votes.
We have some extra pictures of Felipe's wife if they win.
Well, what does that mean?
Like
I think we should do this like once a week, maybe once, huh? I think this is fun. This is great.
Of course it is.
Not that we'd have such big prizes to give away. We'd come up with some crap.
Some crap, sure.
Honey and her man, 18 votes, and that's because she's sitting there nude. Although a little bit too far away, honey.
Yeah, I should say that this was slapped together very, very last minute.
Yeah, it looks like she was slapping it.
Fashion.
Okay. She's got 18 and her man. Monica and her man have 11. Now these guys, they are anonymous. They don't have a name.
I reckon that's what came with the email.
Henry and Diane have 7 votes, which is shocking. And Bob and Nadine only have 3.
I guess they don't have as many friends as the other people.
I mean, Bob and Nadine, they're a little bit older than some of the other folks on there, but I mean, considering their age, I mean, they're like a nice middle, and they're not
nice.
Bad. They're nice people.
Sure.
But they only have 3 votes, which is astonishing when you consider that Henry and Diane have 7. Oh, my God. Anyway, that's it. I'm not making any editorial comment. We appreciate all these tons of people that participated in this gigantic QM
And we got
contest.
5 more than I thought we'd get.
Yeah, I didn't think we'd have any. That's why I asked you before the show today. Is this thing going to really fly or what? You know? Let's take a call or two before we get into a couple of bedtime stories and some other crap. Should we do it?
Okay.
Come on, Carlos. Just quit being so surly, okay? Eric told me he's the one that put that nice banner up for me. Here's Plantation. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir. Sorry you waited so long.
That's all right. When you said earlier that you only had one call on the line, I figured, no way. You've been gone for a week. First day back, all the Schmidt that's going on.
Yeah.
Sure enough, I dialed in and got right through. It's
there you
incredible. Incredible. Anyway.
I only had to wait 40 minutes.
I'm one of your listeners who's been listening to you at least since 1980. I've only called you once or twice in that time, and that's the way you like it, I know. But I have to, and I agree with you on, I think almost everything you've ever said. But I got to take issue with you on one thing.
Yeah.
When you said the American people are brainwashed, that's not true. Because to be brainwashed, you have to have a living, functioning brain. Their brain's dead.
Mm-hmm.
They're beyond.
That's a good point. Yeah. Most of them are brain dead. You're right.
And,
in fact, to a lot of Americans, this war is like a video game.
Yes. Yes. And the stuff that you said while I was on hold, though, was so on target. I mean, it's just incredible. The week you were gone, I found myself forced to listen to music, and you know how bad that is.
You mean you didn't want to hear George talking about the boobs and stuff?
No offense to George, and I did listen to George's show, but I'm talking about other times. After trying to listen to some of the news after the show, it's like you can't listen to it because it's such BS. Just 2 things real quickly.
I will not watch CNN ever again. I'll tell you that. As far as during the war, anyway, I won't watch CNN. They're way behind everybody else. And number 2, they're a joke. And number 3, they're cheerleading almost as hard as the people on CNN all have pom poms and American flags to be waving while they're doing so-called reporting.
Yeah, you're right. Just 2 things quickly, Neil, if I can. One thing is you probably, I'm sure you noticed that one of the first things they did, the U.S. forces, when they got into Iraq, is secure those oil fields.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
you bet. Absolutely.
And the reason
they were peeing in their pants when they thought that there were 7 oil wells on fire, which it turns out it really weren't. But they were crapping their pants when they saw that.
Right, and the reason that they gave was because, number 1, that's the lifeblood for Iraq's economic recovery afterwards.
Right.
And number 2, if they fail to take those oil fields, there could be a horrible environmental catastrophe. And we know that the Bushmeister would never pursue oil at the cost of the environment.
Right.
You need that.
and speaking of the environment, isn't it lovely seeing all the trenches filled with oil that they're burning around Baghdad now to try to cover their ass a little bit? That's got to be doing a lot of good to the environment too. They already reported a whole, I don't know how many, but a lot of people reporting breathing problems, respiratory problems, similar to like 9/11.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. The last thing that I have is, I don't know whether you saw this, but Tom Brokejaw interviewed the mother
broke
I think
down.
his name was Chamberlain.
Mm-hmm.
Of the supposedly the first U.S. Casualty,
and he broke down.
He really handed it to him, saying, "Oh, the technology is great, but you're killing the families of the guys over there." He didn't get it. He's saying, "Yes, that's right." He didn't get it. It just went totally. He didn't realize that she was saying, "You jerk-offs in the media, have
right.
an incredible lack of sensitivity." And he just, "Oh, thank you. That's so wonderful."
And let me say it again. None of this could have ever happened without the willing and enthusiastic cooperation of the media.
That's right. You're right on, Neil. Thank you so much. I appreciate talking with you.
Thanks. Have a great day.
You too.
23 after 10 at 560 WQM as the madness continues. And, of course, just like happened in Vietnam, although this is obviously not going to last that long, we hope. But you notice that they were backtracking right away in the first day or so. They were saying, "Oh, this isn't going to be a cakewalk. It's not going to be as easy as a lot of people thought." And because they're trying to prepare the public for what could be a real bloodbath here. It's already turning into a bloodbath. And as they get closer and closer to Baghdad and the real confrontations of the Republican Guard get underway, and who knows if they corner Saddam, if they actually will use chemical and biological weapons, there's a good chance that will happen. And then they'll say, "See, we told you. We told you he had all of this." Well, we already knew that. Anybody with a brain knew that. The question is, like you kept talking about, rattling the hornet's nest, is this what you really want to do? And do we really want to give more reason to terrorists around the world to do their thing against Americans everywhere? And it's just mind-boggling to me how the public can get. But like I started to say, same thing in Vietnam. In the beginning, everybody was gung-ho. Let's roll. Let's get those commie bastards. It wasn't too far after the Cold War, the part of the Cold War of the 50s, the McCarthy era, all the commie pinko witch hunts. Comunista. Right. Too bad Dr. Laura wasn't on the air then. She'd have been great. But then as the years went on, and the very same people who were being excoriated for their anti-American attitudes and for their audacity to criticize the government and question the war and the motives for being there, then all of a sudden come to 67, 68, and Lyndon Johnson says, "I don't think I'm going to run again." Not a good idea. Because as the news pictures, and of course back then we didn't can you imagine if we would have had the technology back then, that would have saved thousands and thousands and thousands of lives all the way around.
If we had all those embeds?
If we would now forget about the embeds, if we'd have just had the satellite technology to put the images on the air and seeing the thousands and thousands of innocent women and children and other people, like even men count, I guess, who got butchered, just slaughtered in Vietnam. And so as we got into the late 60s, all of a sudden the very same people who were being excoriated a few years before that, now they became like the mainstream and mainstream media. Walter Cronkite went on here with an impassioned plea that we have to stop the killing now. This is madness. The same Walter Cronkite, by the way, who talked about this war in the same tone, said the same things about this president and this war. I just mentioned those things in passing. So you'll see that, and again, I'm certainly not hoping for a bloodbath, but there's a very strong possibility that's going to happen. And as more and more bodies come back, let's see how that market is doing, by the way, George. Let's take a quick peek at the gambling channel and see if the markets are still soaring. Oh, look at that.
Good morning, Martha.
John, let's talk a little bit about the Patriot missiles.
Yeah, let's talk about those Patriot missiles, like the ones that didn't work in 1991.
Down 243.
Let's talk about those.
Yikes.
242.5 points the Dow is down, and it's only the market's been open 4 minutes less than an hour. And the Nasdaq's down 39. The Standard & Poor. Now, remember that guy that called me for financial advice a few weeks ago? He says, well, you say that when the war starts, the market's going to take a crap. I was thinking about him the last few days because 8 days in a row the Dow has gone soaring way up there, Mm-hmm. I mean, anybody that's foolish enough to gamble away their money now after what we've seen the last 2 or 3 years in the market, you have to be a maniac. You have to be a lunatic. And like I've also said, talk about the American people being brain dead. To watch people, I'm not talking about people making serious money like I am. I'm talking about people that have worked hard all their lives and have their life savings, their retirement money just vanish based on Kenny Boy Lay at Enron and all these other phony baloney deals. Not to mention, of course, Richard Pearl. What was the one he was involved with?
Oh, I give up.
Whatever the hell it was.
Global Crossing.
Yeah, Global Crossing. Very good. Losing their money in these bogus stocks, watching them vanish. Well, I guess I'm going to have to work forever. There'd be revolutions in other countries for less than that.
You won't have to work forever. You'll eventually
die. And the American
die.
public is just like that, just sitting back on their ass. And then some of these assholes, including some of you people listening to me right now, got the balls, talking about who's got balls, to be ripping folks that have the nerve to go out there and protest in the streets, who've got the guts to do it and stand up against this crap. Shame on you. Shame on you. And have to keep reminding, well, you know, it's their American right, as it like we're a bunch of little kids in kindergarten. We have to keep repeating these same silly things. 10:28. Hey, the Beast was in Friday. He lost another pound. He's still a cow, but he's lost close to 60 pounds now in Balance for Life. He's a little slow because he's a pig. You know, he's cheating. But he still lost damn near 60 pounds, and he's getting his little black sack, which you'll get to every day when you're on the Balance for Life weight loss program. Believe me, fat equals sick. I know that as well as anybody. Fat equals sick. And after this last stroke I had, man, I'm working feverishly now. And when I first came back up here, I thought, I was just screwing around. I was eating. Not getting any better, feeling like crap. So if you want to feel better and look better and be a lot healthier, that's the important part. Let Balance for Life do it for you. They do all the figuring on the Zone diet. They put together great, delicious, fresh meals in your little black sack. No cooking, no shopping, no calorie counting, no carbohydrate counting. Right in that black sack, they deliver to your door every morning by 6 a.m. to your home, your work, wherever. 3 delicious gourmet meals, 2 delicious snacks, and nothing frozen, nothing artificial, no nasty preservatives. Fresh, delicious goodies, and you get to choose between 2 choices for each meal every day that you're on the program. So if you really want to lose the weight the delicious and easy way, do the same as the Beast is doing. Call Balance for Life and let them do all the work for you. Call 954-568-3229. 954-568-3229, or visit their website at balanceforlife.com.
We're Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Anybody have a heart or a liver?
No.
The Middle Eastern world will be exploded. Saddam had people killed with the gas that we sold him. First time aggressor nation and the only one that's going. Now more blood will be spilled to get that oil flowing. Forget about Korea and the nukes they're toting, and the right wing is drilling it over and over into our heads that Iraq has some weapons of mass destruction. "3,000 people killed are not forgotten. Let's exploit them instead. Hey, there's oil to be gotten. Going after Saddam to placate Osama. There's no longer mention of the name Bin Laden, but no one seems concerned, all comfy and complacent, believing every word of this cartel administration that controls us by fear through media manipulation. And the right wing is drilling it over and over into our heads that Iraq has some weapons of mass destruction. The loss of civil rights is the price that we're paying. We're all suspects now, Nazi Ashcroft is saying. I have nothing to hide, table talkers all are saying. Blind obedient cattle don't have any reservation. Without unprovoked battle and world annihilation. Old regimes must fall and Halliburton installed with no objection at all. Democrats don't have the balls, and the right wing is drilling it over and over into our brainwashed heads. Iraq has some weapons of mass destruction. Oi! Only Iraq has some weapons of mass destruction.
Hey, the good news is, after we finish in Iraq, I just got a message we're going to be invading Delaware.
Okay.
Yeah, well, because it's small, it's close to D.C., we'll have far to go. Command and control right there. Remember a year ago in January of 2002, and Karl Rove, who's the brains behind this president, because somebody's got to have some, he said, we're going to play the war card.
Right.
Yeah. So any notion, and of course, we put on our website zillions of articles that prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the invasion of Iraq was planned long before 9/11. I mean, how can you possibly sell some concept to somebody? You know, we were attacked by Party A, okay? Party A came over here, killed 3,000 of our people. They want to wipe us out. So what we're going to do now is retaliate by attacking Party C. Does that make any sense?
No, let me see.
And even in spite of all the hysterical and herniatical efforts of Colin Powell and all the other spokesmen of this administration, all these speeches at the UN, with their greatest efforts, they couldn't link in any way, shape, or form any relationship between 9/11 and Iraq and Saddam Hussein. He's not one of them. He's not a religious fanatic. He's just the opposite. He hates them as much as we do. He's still a butcher, but there's plenty of butchers all around the world, including one 90 miles away from Florida. Very, very sad how anybody could convince anybody else of something so ludicrous. 567. I'm going to give the numbers out once, and if not, I'll just proceed ahead with all this stuff I got because I would have thought, like that guy said before, coming back first day after vacation, and maybe the people who disagree with me, maybe they're too intimidated to call, huh? Maybe they can't make a very strong case other than just calling and making some kind of a personal shot, which is par for the course in South Florida radio.
Well, you keep forgetting I drove them all away last week.
No, you didn't. Look at all the votes that pouring in on that hot couple contest. Look at that. Huh? Over 100, 116 last time I checked. Oh, there's Tony Blair.
EU, Russia and the UN
EU
are now endorsed by us all. I reported on the talks. We had both...
The talks. Don't forget we got those 70 Polish soldiers, Tony. 5-6. The only problem is that they got to Basra and then they turned around and went back to Kuwait. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. A response from hell. Here's Miami. Hello.
Saddam stands for nothing but himself, and that's what people have to understand. You know, I was calling in really pissed off about this war. Then I took a good look at the contest page.
Yeah.
And Henry and Diane, huh? Well, God bless them.
They're hot, man.
You know how much they love each other. They're not even touching in that photograph.
I don't think they even know each other.
Brother and sister, maybe.
Yeah. I think they met in the 7-Eleven and wanted to win that car. They heard it in the car.
You know, I would like to know what happened to checks and balances in this country. It just became checks and credit cards because apparently we've got a war here that's not even a war. It's in complete violation of the U.S. Constitution.
And the UN Charter.
Exactly. And you've got Congress saying, oh, you want complete control of who you want to declare war on, President? Go right ahead.
Go right ahead. Oh, hey, listen, I want to tell you, the Democratic Party should only go to hell, okay? Because as far as, and I've said this for a long time, both parties in America suck. The political system is as corrupt and as spineless and gutless. Without the caving in of the Democrats, this could never have happened the way it's gone down. Never could have happened.
Exactly, yeah. Because the president's got his buddies in office.
What can I tell you?
Yeah, and can you?
The American people are watching American Idol.
Exactly, and you've got what is this general that he's appointing? Who is he? What are his credentials?
Some crony, no doubt.
And we've got the protesters in Oregon who, you know, like you said, everybody's got a right, but when you're burning the American flag, you're not protesting against the administration or protesting against the country, and that's not
right. And don't forget this general is from Orlando.
Eisner.
So what does that tell you? Have a great day, pal.
Have a wonderful life.
Thanks. You too. 567-0560, pound 560 on it. Look at there's Tony Blair.
Tribute to the brave servicemen who've lost their lives.
Yeah, 16 Brits died already, and none of them from unfriendly fire. I mean, stop and think about that.
I know.
But like I think I interrupted myself about a fourth time before when I was talking about Vietnam. As the things go on, and as more and more, and I'm hoping this doesn't happen, but it looks almost inevitable because it's gotten a lot worse over the weekend. More and more bodies come back in boxes and in bags. More and more deaths all the way around. Then you're going to see this enormous support start eroding. It happens every time. It happens just like the market. That's when I interrupted myself to look at the market. There's a good example for you. All these people that were getting brainwashed, oh, this is going to be a piece of cake, it's a cakewalk, it's going to be a quick and easy war, then we're going to patch the economy together. Even though he put the price tag, he finally put up the $80 billion request to Congress today, which they'll rubber stamp, of course, $80 billion. That's just the tip of the iceberg.
Right. That ain't nothing.
That's just the start. Then they're saying that once they get the new government set in there, the interim government, it's going to cost us $17 billion a year. That's just for America's chunk. And don't forget, we're going to give a big tax cut for all the wealthy again, for all the George W.'s buddies, all of his big corporate pals, more and more tax cuts. They just can't get enough. And the public sits back and blah, 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 like that. It's enough to make you crap your pants, man. It's unbelievable. Yeah, that's the public. Don't require them to do too much thinking, okay? Just put the war on as a video game and they'll really enjoy it. Hey, I'm in bed with this one and I'm in bed with that one. George would wish he was in bed with almost anybody at this point.
Why do you
Even
keep saying that?
Because it's true.
Okay.
Even Screw Ann. I see that part he should have got upset about.
I just don't know where you're coming from.
So did you find out that P.D. Lenny is still there or not?
No, we don't know nothing.
Come on, let's get the story behind the story. We got to find out about that billboard, if it's still up, or whether Greg has even like a little BB under there. We might have to get Mo out there with that flashlight again. Remember he was checking to see if Geldy had any BBs? Might have to check and see if your buddy's got any. The Greg Meister. Oh, we got leadership. Huh? We got leadership at QAM. We got leadership in Washington. Don't be like Saddam if you find yourself in a dead end job. Well, who wrote this piece of crap copy? Wow. Probably Todd Drex, speaking of dead, brain dead. If you find yourself in idiot. If you find yourself in a dead-end job, pick up the phone and call Fast Train. There he goes again with that pick up the phone. I'd like to pick up my phone and throw it at your puss, Todd, you little idiot. But when you're only 3 inches tall, it's kind of hard to hit him. Maybe just step on his ass. Call 1-866-FAST-TRAIN to get started in a new high-paying computer job. You can make big bucks like our computer wizard, Carlos. Unless you're hiding under your desk and cruise missiles are landing around you, there is no excuse not to get started. Call Fast Train toll-free at 1-866-FAST-TRAIN. They offer convenient day, evening, and weekend classes. Check Fast Train on the web at fasttrain.com. Get out from that dead-end job. Unlike dictators, computer professionals are in high demand. Call Fast Train today. They've got locations in Miami, Kendall, Pembroke Pines, and prestigious Fort Lauderdale, so there's bound to be one convenient to where you be. Register at fasttrain.com to get your free American flag bumper sticker. Wow. Pick up the phone and call Fast Train today, toll free, 1-866-FAST-TRAIN.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560, QAM.
The word Neil said if his tongue was notarized.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Baghdad Karaoke Cafe presents Saddam Hussein. Thank you. I've got the UN by the scrotum, never really showed them all my poison and my warheads. Now they're cooked, never looked under my beds. Thank you. I got the factory making anthrax nukes in kiddies' backpacks. There's no way you'll make me dead. King Colin Powell should have looked under the towel on my head. Come on, people, sing along with me because this is unbelievable, huh? I've got the United States going crazy, trying to convince people to attack me, except for Sean Penn, of course, who's on my side. He loves me like crazy. Funny little kook. Oh, get used to a life of hard knocks when I give you the smallpox. You should have looked a little harder. Yes. Silly Bush, kiss the tush of this murderer. Thank you very much. Please tip your waiters and waitresses. Good night.
I wonder what they found in that chemical factory in the sand.
Sand?
Nothing. You didn't see that?
No.
It was completely like a sandcastle.
Mm.
They said this is one of the methods they use to camouflage secret laboratories and whatever. Factories, yeah. That's because I see a lot of Bela Lugosi movies.
Yes.
Who'd you rather hear, Tony Blair?
Got that post immediately, if that's all right.
Or the Drive-In Movie Channel, now that I got my digital cable, How to Make a Monster.
You'll come in from here. Very stealthily, very cunning. With animal instinct, you will feel that there's an enemy around. You hear something, you stop. You look around. I want this to be really creepy. You haven't seen anything yet.
Is that Sodom instructing the Republican Guard? It just might be. Or we could go back and hear Tony Blair again if you like. Come on, Tony. What do you say, baby?
Kennedy.
Here. They're doing a here, which means, thankfully we got him off of there.
Devised by the European Union with Britain and France at the forefront of it. Have to disagree for now. It should stay, according to Tony Blair.
Well, there you go, according to Tony Blair. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Now, where's line 3 from?
It's, we're having problems with that.
Apparently. Oh, we're having problems with
Miami.
that?
Hey, good
Miami,
morning.
hello. Yes, sir.
Morning. A couple things. The billboard's still up.
It's still up.
Yes.
It's got the UM logo on it?
Yep. Still.
All right. Excellent. Nice going, Greg. He may have grown up here over the weekend, a small pier.
Secondly, I'm sorry. Did you come back? George, you had your time last week. Shut the fuck up.
It didn't sound like him. It sounded like a different guy.
I didn't recognize it.
It's a different guy, but nevertheless, he's called
a different guy that hates you. So what's wrong with that? I had to dump him because he said shut the F up or something like that. He said ussy and its. Well, what a response we're getting here, man. I can see I'm going to have plenty of time for bedtime stories. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. We're only in the middle of a war over which there's incredible split all around the goddamn country and around the world. And I'm sitting here begging for calls again on my first day back after a wonderful, well-deserved vacation. Thank you. Oh, don't you want to bring in C-SPAN so they can hear what the South Florida audience has to say? Oh, yeah. We sure as hell do, man. No mistake about it. Here's Miami on 5. Hello.
Are you reading fairy tales?
No, there he is. There's the one you're looking for. Here's Lake Worth. Hello, our only call. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, welcome back.
Sure.
You know, you hit the nail on the head before when you were talking about the reasons that the United States was giving for this war.
Mm-hmm.
And you said first it was to go out after these weapons of mass destruction.
Right.
Then it was to liberate the people of Iraq.
No, that was third. Second was regime change. Third was to liberate
change. Then now the new one is to feed them and to give them medicine.
Right.
And
that they've been denied for the last 12 years because of the UN sanctions, which we're a part of.
Exactly. And I was like, that's why I was going to call you, is to say that. It's like, well, wait a minute. What happened to the original reason that we went in there? And, right now, the most important thing is not to kill Hussein. The important thing is to find any weapon of mass destruction, because if the United States doesn't find any weapons of mass destruction, they're going to have to answer to the world for all of this. And
but you know something? Even if they do, that holds no water with me, because we already know that they've got weapons of mass destruction, because we know what we sold them and what we gave to them.
Exactly.
We know what the inspectors were shown to be destroyed, so we know what the hell he's got, or at least we just can't put our finger on it. But what does that prove? There are zillions of countries that have weapons of mass destruction.
It doesn't prove anything, but that's going to be the justification for all of it. And the United States is going to come out and say, aha, here you go, we told you. Well, we already knew.
Stop and think about the Cold War when we were looking each other in the eye with the Russians. I mean, we knew that they had a huge arsenal of nuclear weapons, and we had ours. So what did we do? Did we go and drop nukes to try to provoke them? Of course not.
Do you remember, months and months and months ago when they had those closed-door energy meetings in the White House?
Sure. And Dick Cheney wouldn't tell us who was in it and what they said, right?
Well, to me, I've been thinking over the last few days, and I'm like, well, you know what? I've read a lot of articles, and it seems that Halliburton's going to be making a lot of money off of these oil wells.
Oh, I got a good article on that coming up, by the way.
Exactly. And you know what? But I do want to finish what I was going to say. But you know what? Bring back the bedtime stories, okay? Because you know what? There's only a few avenues in which that we can receive this type of information, and you're one of them. So you know what? You got my vote.
I'll tell you right now, that's why I got the digital cable in my studio here, so I can get the CBC and the BBC on here instead of just the usual propaganda that most Americans are listening to.
But do you think that the reason that they didn't want to disclose what was discussed in those meetings is because way back when, okay, and that's already a given, but way back when, they were talking about the invasion.
Just keep one thing in mind. 1998, 5 years ago, Halliburton got a big contract in Iraq. 5 years ago, and Dick Cheney was still on the board at that time, one of the directors.
So they knew back then that they were going to invade once a Republican president was elected.
You bet.
And I just want to say one last thing to all those people, okay, and you've had a few callers say it before, but you know what? I think it's really disgusting that these people that go out and they support the troops, I support the troops, but I oppose the war. There's absolutely no correlation in between the two. Okay?
Absolutely correct.
You can oppose the war as much as you want, but you know what? I want to see all of the men and women come home in one piece, and I find it really, really unnerving that these people actually think that we are against the welfare of our own soldiers.
Well, only stupid people say crap like that.
They are, but you know what? It's so commonplace. You have these shouting matches now on street corners, and I'm like,
but you got to understand, people that are so stupid, that have such a low IQ, they can't separate supporting the troops or supporting your country from supporting whoever happens to be in power at the time or whatever the hell they do. We're not going to be a bunch of goose steppers.
Hey, Neil, I love you. Welcome back.
Thanks. Have a great day.
Bye.
Strongly recommend, if you didn't read this article, and you ought to really check out the Project for the New American Century, PNAC, I'm sure it's still on there, right under our old stories on our website.
Right.
Now, what's the? Because I'm looking at my beautiful couples here, my hot couples.
It's the features.
Yeah, click on the features and go to some of the old stories because we had this on a few days ago. Cheney's monstrous scream project for the new American. Did I say scream? Scheme. Same thing. It makes me scream. From prisonplanet.com, or you can just go to prisonplanet.com on that website, which is a great one, by the way, where they have current pictures of Baghdad and all kinds of stuff that you won't find in the mainstream media. Project for the New American Century, and find out who these people are, which you know them all by name. Dick Cheney and Rumsfeld and Wolfowitz and
Ashcroft.
Richard Pearl, Ashcroft, and guess who else is involved, by the way? In fact, where's my picture I have here? I was gonna fax you this last week. I never got around to it. Here it is. In one of the Toronto papers. Powerful policy group. Project for the New American Century includes Bush stalwarts, and here are the big pictures. There's Cheney on top, who looks like his heart may be ticking. There's Donald, don't call me Hermann Goering Rumsfeld. In the bottom right-hand corner is Paul Wolfowitz, and guess who's in the bottom left-hand corner? I'll give you one clue. It's your governor, Jeb Bush.
Huh.
Yeah. Also just happens to be a member of the Project for the New American Century. How do you like that? Who helped to conspire to get the election fixed for his brother. What a coincidence, you know? Let me say it again. I don't want to sound cynical, but I am. I don't trust anybody in American government. At the state level, at the local level, at the federal level, at any level. I don't trust any of them. They're all a bunch of crooks. Just a matter of degree. Some are just better at getting graft than others, that's all. That sound a little bit too cynical? No. Sounds right on to me. Here's Hollywood. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Pretty good.
Listen, I just wanted to verify with the last caller that there's so many ignorant, uneducated people out there that are trying to put a correlation between liking the troops and saying we oppose the war. We all support the troops. Even though we are against the war. That's the first thing. The second thing I need to say is that why are we not asking for regime change in Saudi Arabia where women don't have the same rights?
That's right.
Why is 15 of 19 hijackers Saudi Arabians?
Well,
we're not asking for regime change.
Let me interrupt you on this. How come we didn't care about regime change in Afghanistan when the women there had to wear the burqas and the men had to wear their beards a certain length and they couldn't listen to music and they were being so badly oppressed until 9/11? And then all of a sudden the Taliban and Osama got in bed together even more than they had been, and then all of a sudden they became the enemy and we decided it was time to go in there and invade. The hypocrisy is just unbelievable, and if anybody would open their eyes, it's right in front of them to see.
Because the answer is, Neil, there's nothing in countries like North Korea or some of these other ones that don't have what we want and who we're friends with. The Bush family has been protecting King Fahd and his regime for I don't know how many years.
Right. You got it.
Thank you.
Okay, and don't forget about the Carlyle Group and the Bush family, baby. The world, just like in the movie Network, when that great line when Ned Beatty says to Howard Beale, he says, "The world is a business, Mr. Beale," and that's it. The world is a freaking business. And in public, we sit around like a bunch of little sheep, like a bunch of little lemmings, and wave our little flag. Oh my God, when are some of you people going to wake up and understand that we're getting screwed and tattooed? Most people, like I always tell you, just want to live their lives and leave everybody alone. Decent people, that's their attitude. You know, if they can do something good, that's fine too. Make a contribution to society. But most people don't want to get screwed over, don't want to have their lifetime savings destroyed with crap, with bogus investments. It's just amazing to me what sheep the public are, and it goes to show how easily they can be manipulated. Hitler learned that lesson. And I used to wonder when I was younger, gee, how could he manage to do that? How could he convince all those German people to goose step along and participate in that insanity?
Lots of parades. Lots of parades.
And he did it without television, by the way.
Right.
Of course, he was a more forceful speaker than what we got now. 10:58 at 560 WQM. Tom Lehman and Joe Prieto at Hallett Pontiac GMC are proud to announce their Neil Deal March Madness sale, and it's still going on. Neil Deal number 1. Pick out any new GMC or Pontiac in stock, like the 33-mile-a-gallon Vibe, priced as low as $13,998, and get yourself 0% financing for up to 60 months. You heard me right, 0% for up to 60 months. Neil Deal number 2. Choose any new vehicle in stock and get you up to a $3,000 rebate. Absolutely correct. Get up to a $3,000 rebate on any new vehicle in stock at Hallett Pontiac. And as always, Hallett's got a spectacular Neil deal waiting for on used cars, trucks, and SUVs. And as far as credit is concerned, this is one of the great things about the folks at Hallett. They're not as picky as most other car dealers. Even if your credit is marginal, even if you know P.D. Lenny, they'll still cut you a deal. It's another set of great Neil deals going on right now at Hallett Pontiac, 13401 South Dixie Highway. That's on US 1 across from the Falls. Do not mention Bob Eisenberg's name, by the way. Open every day, 7 days a week. For more info, call the Neil Deal hotline toll-free, 1-888-534-4211. That's 1-888-534-4211. Don't forget all Neil deals, subject to credit approval. See dealer for details. Hallett Pontiac GMC, who proudly say we are professional grade.
Live and local. We're Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The sky is falling.
Guess you should have known. By now we got these colors that tell us when a threat is near. At least you're the kind of person who believes if we got hit once, the next one will be more severe. But I guess you must be dumb when you say that this new system really needs to be refined. I told you green means alright, and orange means uptight, but you say, what if I'm colorblind? Honey, I said, when it's red, big red, baby, you're much too much. Yes, you are. When it's red, big red, oh, you need to get a clue, you stupid ass.
Yeah, when it's red, it's a big threat. And the rhetoric gets, what I'm hearing, it's even a bigger threat. Is that what you hear?
All the time.
11:03 at 560 WQAM. And speaking of getting red, let's take a look at those hot pictures, man, in a hot pick contest. Let me click on the hot couples contest and take a look again. It is close to lunchtime, though. Let's see. Leading the pack, no surprise.
God, this thing's so slow.
Felipe and the wife have 91 votes. Nice going, Felipe and wife. They're a cute couple.
Yes.
Honey and her man have 34, because she's naked. A couple of boobs on there, baby. In fact, we got several boobs. I mean, and then moving right along, Monica and her man, 21. Why is this her man? Why did two of these things...
I don't know who wound up labeling those things. Was it Miguel? Was it Eric? Was it...
Miguel or Eric?
We don't know who they care about the guy's name, you know. Henry and Diane, 14. Henry, who's a gigantic hulk of a guy. And Bob and Nadine. Poor Bob and Nadine, who seem like really nice, middle-class, average, everyday folks. They got 7 votes.
They should be
help
third.
out Bob. Huh?
They should be third.
Yeah, they should be, and I'm not saying they should be on top or on the bottom. But I mean, no, seriously, they deserve a little bit better fate than that. I mean, and like you said, maybe they don't have as many friends as some of the other people on there who got a lot of bogus votes pouring in.
Chain emailing like Joe used to do.
Like Joe Costello likes to do, because he's got a little ego problem because they're on at the time when everybody's asleep. You're okay, Joe. You're okay in my book. Just don't bug me. Let's see. Now, how come this thing? Oh, there it is. I'm sure we're getting freaked. I just checked out Free Republic. Yeah. I don't think they're freaking, but somebody is. Which of these statements best describes your feeling about the Iraq attack, our war in Iraq? Oh, there's Tommy Franks again.
Special Republican.
Oh, that must be a tape. It's long overdue. Let's roll 128, which is 26.8%. It's all about oil and world domination, 123. It's a grotesque waste of human life, 87. Iraq represented no threat to the U.S., 62. It's mostly political, 55. And it's about liberating the Iraqi people, 21, which is 4. So if you take the two that are like all in favor, all gung-ho, liberation and long overdue, you got 31%, which means 69% opposed. How do you like that?
Yeah, well, that's your faggot liberal audience there.
Good. That's excellent, okay? Just like they were trying to make out, well, those protests in San Francisco. How about in New York? We're all gay in New York?
Yes.
Chicago?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Everywhere in the world. London?
Yes.
The whole world is gay.
We know, and the French, well.
Screw the French. They're pigs. Here's Hialeah. Hello. Hialeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Neil, I just wanted to tell you that for about the past month, every time I try to click onto the features to get one of your past articles, it just comes up it's not a blank page, it's like your background page, that light blue with the...
Oh, my God. What's that all about, Carlos?
I don't know. I just checked it and it worked fine.
Yours is fine?
Probably. Yep. It's tracing the fact that you're in Hialeah. And our website's probably a little bit nervous about releasing too much info in Hialeah.
I wouldn't doubt that. Yeah, I can't get anything on the page at all, and I'm really interested in those articles, but I can't get to them yet.
I'll be damned. Well, I'd steal somebody else's computer, probably work better.
Okay.
Because it's working for us.
I just wanted to let you know, maybe there's something you guys could do. If not,
We'll
we'll
we'll get Sherlock Holmes to check it out.
All right, thank you, Neil.
Thank you. There's a guy in Hialeah can't get it. See, George, you're not alone. 5670560. Look, everybody's got their Achilles heel, and so I'm just giving you a little business there. Why the hell not? You deserve a little business.
Yeah, whatever. But you don't like looking at hot people? Since when?
I love looking at hot people. Now, is this your idea of looking at us? I'm not that desperate.
We opened it up for whoever would send their stuff in.
But you know that it's the...
We got something.
Yeah. No, I'm not knocking that. It's a start. It's a start.
Right.
I'm sure that there are a lot of very bashful people out there who are afraid that if they send in pictures of themselves, especially like at least what's her name there, she's naked as a jaybird. She's got a couple of boobs spilling out. But they're afraid that maybe you might do something with them, like put them on some pornographic website or something like that. They know what kind of a pervert you are, huh?
And we did.
They're afraid. Yeah, see, ours can't get much more pornographic than ours. Make sure, and of course, this is also linked up with the QAM website. Now wait till Donna Shalala finds out about that, huh? We got. Hey Donna, we got a naked broad on there on our website, okay? Even though we have nothing to do with the University of Miami on this show,
we got balls and boobs.
We got balls and boobs. How do you like that, Donna?
Hurricane fucking blow.
Amen. What a blue nose. See, I rest my case. And especially for her of all people, which I could make all kinds of comments about her, but I won't. But of all people, it'd be like Janet Reno making a statement like that. It's just outrageous. And I guarantee you, Donna, Janet's got a lot bigger balls than you got. At least she's got a sense of humor. No, seriously.
Yeah.
All the things that have been said about Janet Reno on this show and all the bits that we play and the comments I've made about her we never had any backlash. She never sent a letter. Well, I think she's got a sense of humor. Right?
Right.
She may not look like a funny guy, the gal, but that Janet, I'll guarantee you she's got a humongous pair of balls, much larger than Donna's ever seen in her life. So U of M to you, okay? Screw you. Bunch of losers. It's just, I looked at, it was the Rim Man gave me the rumor that Joe Rose, I guess, was going apoplectic on the air about that. And ripping Greg Reed, ripping the station for caving in, and Donna Shalala and all this other stuff. And I couldn't believe it. And then I check out on the website of the Herald, and there's Barry Jackass, of course, who now is the conduit for both Wacky Jackie Thompson and Greg Reed. I think that's a match made in heaven myself. Don't you?
Sure.
Oh, I'd like to see the two of them on that Hot Pictures thing together. In a compromising position. Here's Davey. Hello.
Neil?
Yes, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Listen, I have a couple observations. I wonder
Go
if
ahead.
you saw this. Do you think that America's obsession with violence and guns is the reason why we're the only nation that seems in the whole world to want to do this when, countries like Mexico and Canada, they say no, we don't want to go to war. Everybody else is there a correlation there? Well,
I'm not saying this is the only violent country in the world. There's sure been plenty of violence in China and in Russia and a lot of other countries that are against this war. Now, but that is part of the American mindset. There's no question about that. Americans, especially men, have this macho thing, and they love. And in fact, as you watch this going on, all these reporters who are embedded, so-called, and I hate that word, embedded with the troops, and they can tell you they look up into the sky, and there's the B-52 coming in from London. Every aircraft, every piece of military hardware, every weapon that's dropped, and as if this is something that we're supposed to know. I don't know most of this, and I don't care, quite frankly. I don't want to know it.
Yeah. Have you also noticed that on the Christian stations, all these preachers are for this?
Really?
On one of them in particular, I'm not going to say which one.
Why not?
On the bottom of
Why not?
Well, TBN, all right.
Oh, Paul and Jan Crotch?
They have on the bottom of the screen, I swear to God, are you sitting down? Pray for the president.
Yeah.
And it's been continually...
Sir, I got news for you. Any Republican president, no matter who it was, if he told us all to go to the edge of a cliff, hold hands, and jump, they'd have the directions on where to find the nearest cliff on TBN and all these other right-wing nutcases.
Neil, they really think God's a Republican.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch them. I think to myself, and then I heard the preacher saying, we finally got a man in the White House that is a man of integrity. Are you sitting down on that one? A man of integrity.
He never stole anything besides an election.
A God-fearing man, you know?
Yeah.
You should push that button with that old woman going, oh, my God, you know?
I think we need to see Connie from The Godfather after they dropped the first shock and awe wave of bombs there. Connie saying to George W., now they will fear you.
Well, we've been in shock and awe since W took over, so
yeah,
what's
you can
new
say
about that,
again.
right?
Too many hanging chads, man. Have a great day.
I don't know. Have a good day. I love you.
Good luck to us.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, all you old Jews up there in Palm Beach County, thanks a lot. That's all I can tell you. Thanks a lot for voting for Pat Buchanan, of all people, huh? Who, quite frankly...
Yeah, I'm telling you. If
well,
you
I
had
turned
your
you out
druthers.
of that show on MSNBC. How is MSNBC? Well, I'd rather hear BBC.
Psychologically, perhaps they were prepared for a war that was going to move very, very quickly, and that they would face surrendering armies and towns and villages that were opening their arms to them. I certainly haven't seen that yet, and I don't know of anybody who has. The battle for Basra is fairly fierce, for example.
There you go, the CBC reporting it, telling it like it is, instead of the propaganda, instead of this, well, we're embedded with this one, and we're... That thing with David Bloom, and you know, he did used to be on, was it NBC in Miami? That's where he started?
Mm-hmm.
Years ago. I mean, I always thought David Bloom was a pretty good reporter, but I mean, he totally lost his credibility, like Bob Arnott and most of these other guys. 4 explosions heard in Baghdad.
A very active time as we continue to keep a close watch over Baghdad. The CBC's Henry Champ is following all developments from Washington and joins us now live. So, Henry, this obviously was a tough weekend for coalition forces. We are continuing to watch the situation in Baghdad, but words of casualties, prisoners of war, how is the administration dealing with all of this?
Well, nobody doubts the inevitability, which will be an American victory in Iraq, but there's no question today there's much more questioning than there is celebrating. Several key events today that are causing some concern here at the White House. Sticker shock for this is going to be revealed this afternoon when the president's request for budget supplemental hits Congress. It's been something that the administration has been avoiding for many months. What is the price of all of this? It will be revealed today as they ask Congress for money, $90 billion.
It just went up $10 billion
the issue of
an hour.
Humanitarian aid. It was a very strong centerpiece to this military campaign. The idea that troops would move up, rush up to Baghdad, and in their train would be food, medicine, people providing electric power, generators. All these kinds of things would be brought in to keep, maintain, and perhaps win the hearts of the Iraqi people.
All of these things.
All these reports of skirmishing and fighting, particularly in Qasr, which is the main...
Okay, we got to do the break, but it's so refreshing to hear the CBC because, you know, we're not getting any bull crap, you know? Right down the middle. 11:14 at 560 WQM. Don't be reluctant about ordering you a great new mattress on the phone, even though it's kind of a major purchase. Because when you deal with Dial Mattress, you're not going to have to worry about a thing. I've done business with them for years, and it's the easiest purchase you'll ever make in your life. One quick phone call to 1-800-MATTRESS, 1-800-MATTRES, and you talk to somebody who's a bedding expert who knows the bedding industry inside and out, upside down and whatever. Where's my mattress, by the way, fat boy? And they carry only the best name brands in the world. They got Sealy, Serta, Simmons, King, Coil, every size and style. They're ranked numero uno in customer satisfaction, and they've got more repeat and referral customers than anybody in the world because they know how to treat you right. Once you buy a mattress from Dollar Mattress, you'll never go back to the old-fashioned way of wasting a lot of time and money by buying a mattress in the showroom and some bedding or department store again. And don't forget, when you buy your mattress from Dollar Mattress, they set it up for you, take away the crappy old smelly bedding for free. Let me say it again. That's correct. Dollar Mattress sets up the new and takes away the old bedding for free. So make the call now and ensure yourself a great night's sleep for months and years to come. Call Dial a Mattress, 1-800-MATTRES. That's 1-800-MATTRESS. Dial a Mattress, the easiest, the smartest possible way to buy you a great new bed.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560. QAM.
Harry's the fairy and he's gonna get married. Harry's the fairy and he's gonna get married. Self-hating homo, so he's gotta get married. Homo has to cover it up. He's a queer homo, mincing poop and a brown-nosing queen with lead in his shoes.
self-hating homo. Now he's gotta get married. Spokesman of the White House homo. He's a fan of jackbooted schmuck with a glow up dome of John Astroff. Does what he stole for Nazi brown hall, and he never eats tuna on a roll. Harry's a screaming, leaping fairy, so he's gotta get married. Mary's a fairy, and he's gonna get married. Self-hating homo, but he's gonna get married. Homo has to cover it up. Homo has to cover it
11:20 at 560 WQM. We're asking about our poll today, NeilRogers.com. Which of these statements best describes your feelings about the Iraq attack? 562 votes. It's all about oil and world domination, 159. It's long overdue. Let's roll, 148. Let's roll! Oh! It's a grotesque waste of human life, 101. Iraq represented no threat to the USA, 74. It's mostly political, 59. And it's about liberating the Iraqi people, 21. How about we liberate the Cuban people first, huh?
Okay, yeah, let's start close to home, move out from there.
And then, after we get done with that, let's liberate the American people again. Get this bunch of fascists out of get them out of Washington, man. Liberate the American people again.
Oh!
That's what we say.
Oh!
Liberty for us. Right?
Right.
Don't be playing that Jesse Helms thing again now, because I know what you're going to do.
Liberty parachute.
And then for us. And at the end of us, we'll put another letter, eh? Oh, don't you love those people that are running around? USA! USA! Oh, those people, man. Oh, they scare me.
They ought to.
They scare me. My country, right or wrong, baby. 11:22. Here's Maureen Dowd's column from yesterday. Pearl's plunder blunder. I didn't even get through the headline without blowing it. Pearl's plunder blunder. It's Richard Pearl's world. We're just fighting in it, she says. The Prince of Darkness, a man who whips up revelatory souffles and revolutionary preemption doctrines with equal ease, took a victory lap at the American Enterprise Institute on Friday morning. The critical battle for Baghdad was yet to come, and shock and awe was still a few hours away. The hawks who were trying to send a message to the world not to mess with America might have preferred an even more intimidating bombing campaign title like Operation Who's Your Daddy? Yet Mr. Pearl, an advisor to Donald Rumsfeld, could not resist a little preemptive crowing about preemption, predicting a general recognition that high moral purpose has been achieved here. Millions of people have been liberated. His conservative audience at the Reagan Shrine's Black Coffee briefing, they're too macho for milk and sugar, was buzzed that their cherished dream of saving Iraq by bombing it was underway. The chesty, you repent, we decide Bush doctrine was cooked up pre-Bush, fashioned over the last 12 years by conservatives like Mr. Pearl, Mr. Rumsfeld, Dick Cheney, Paul Wolfowitz, Scooter Libby, Douglas Feith, and Bill Kristol. The preemption doctrine prefers ad hoc coalitions allowing an unfettered America to strike at threats and potential threats. At AEI, Mr. Pearl boasted that far from going it alone, the Bush administration has a coalition of more than 40 countries and growing, and she says including Micronesia, Mongolia, and the Marshall Islands, all of them. And he was already looking forward to giving makeovers to other rogue regimes. I'm rather optimistic that we'll see regime change in Iran without any use of military power by the U.S., he said. Michael Ledeen, an AEI scholar on the same panel, called Iraq just one battle in a broader war. Iran is the mother of modern terrorism. As Bush 41 learned, waging holy wars can be dicey. After pressing the morality of Desert Storm, he faced questions about his post-war conduct. Critics excoriated Mr. Bush, who had labeled Saddam another Hitler, for turning his back as Saddam laid waste to Kurdish refugees and to Kurds and Shiite Muslims rising up against him after the war. Now Mr. Pearl, who urged America to war with moral certitude, finds himself subject to questions about his own standards of right and wrong. Steve Leviton wrote in the Times on Friday that Mr. Pearl was advising the Pentagon on war even as he was retained by Global Crossing, the bankrupt telecommunications company, to help overcome Pentagon resistance to its proposed sale to a joint venture involving a Hong Kong billionaire. The confidant of Rummy and Wolfe serves as the chairman of the Defense Policy Board, an influential Pentagon advisory panel. That's why Global Crossing agreed to pay Mr. Pearl a fat fee, $725,000. The fee structure is especially smelly because $600,000 of the windfall is contingent on government approval of the sale. In his original agreement, Mr. Prohl also asked the company to shell out for working meals, which could add up given his status as a gourmand from the Potomac to Province, where he keeps his vacation home among the feckless French. Although his position on the Defense Policy Board is not paid, Mr. Prohl is still bound by government ethics rules that forbid officials from reaping financial benefit from their government positions. He and his lawyer told Mr. Labaton that his work for Global Crossing did not violate the rules because he didn't lobby for the company and was serving in an advisory capacity to its lawyers. But that distinction is silly because Global Crossing has so many other big names on its roster of influence peddlers that it doesn't need Mr. Prohl's Gucci's for actual lobbying footwork or advice on the process. His name alone could be worth the $725,000 if it helps win the Pentagon seal of approval. His convictions of right and wrong extend to the right and wrong investments. On Wednesday, he participated in the Goldman Sachs conference call to advise clients on investment opportunities arising from the war titled Implications of an Imminent War, Iraq Now, North Korea Next? ? Maybe Mr. Prohl should remove the laurel wreath from his head and replace it with a paper bag, writes Maureen Dowd in yesterday's New York freaking Times.
All right.
There you go. Little bedtime story. Got one or two more. We'll get to eventually. Mix and match. And then, of course,
casualties, especially around Basra, Nasiriyah. Of course, CBC will continue to follow all the latest developments on this story. But for now, this is CBC News Today.
Thank you, CBC News. God bless you. 26 after 11 at 560 WQN. Pompano Park is doing it, baby, 4 nights a week. We got great live harness racing. And you know, I feel bad because remember the Brian Sears call from Pompano Park?
Yeah.
I still don't think that was him, you know. I would have been much more verbal and verbose and complimentary, but I don't know. I think it was a crank call. We love you, Brian. You're the best. Anyway, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, like tonight, Pompano Park. First post time 7:15. Free general parking, free admission every afternoon and night. And every Monday, like tonight, there's Monday Madness going on. On Monday nights, Pompano Park offers a 2 for $25 full-course dinner special in their lavish top-of-the-park restaurant on the 6th floor. So come out for an evening of great horse racing action, root home a winner from the rail, treat yourself to a private box seat on the 4th floor, or enjoy a Ben & Jerry's Hot Fudge Sundae or a slice of Rostilla's Pizza, a slice of pizza. Every Wednesday is dollar night at the track. You can get draft beer, hot dog, soda, large pretzel, or popcorn for only $1 a piece. There's also a great all-you-can-eat buffet on the 4th floor Players Lounge for just $10.95 per person every racing night. This Saturday, March 29th, is Family Fun Night at Pompano Park. Bring out the kids for free mini horse rides and to meet the newest mini fool, Apollo. And don't forget my favorite event in all of South Florida, make no mistake about it, the free spaghetti dinner at Pompano Park. Oh, my God. It's coming up on Monday, April 7th. Free spaghetti dinner at Pompano Park, and the last one for the season is coming up. Mark it on your calendar, all you people at Cemetery Village and Winmore, etc. Monday, April 7th. We'll tell you more about it. Pompano Park also offers There's only 4 minutes a copy here. Nice going, Steve. Full card simulcasting 7 days a week starting at noon with highlight harness thoroughbred racing action every day, like I said, 7 days a week. All this waiting for you. And don't forget, free spaghetti April 7th at Pompano Park.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560. QAM.
This is the Neil Rogers Show. This is your brain. Any questions?
Yes. All right.
I don't like all the heartburn. Dum, dum, dum. Every time I see dum, 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 dum. That retarded dimwit dum, dum, dum. On my TV. He's President Dumb. Republicans muscled in, an inarticulate idiot. I don't know why they would want this guy, but now he's here. We're screwed the next 4 years with President Dumb. Oh, what I'd give to count votes once more and get who we all voted for. Lips thrumming, stupid heat. Dum, dum, dum. Mindless, drunk, and rich kid. Dum, dum, dum. He's even dumber than me. He's President Dumb. You don't care what it took. You got him in by hook or crook. The Christian right knows what's best for you and I, but have no fear. We've got a great leader here with
President dumb.
We're talking about an oxymoron. I never thought about it. The Christian right.
Yeah.
President dumb.
Hot couples contest is smoking, baby. Felipe and the wife have 114 votes. They got over half of the votes. Honey and her man, 49. She's got a pair.
We can see.
Monica and her man, 32. I'm scrolling. Henry and Diane, 17. And the poor, what's their names? What the hell's their names? Bob and Nadine have 9. Way on the bottom there. I don't understand that. What did they ever do to us? Don't blame us, Bob and Nadine. We like you. You're okay. You look like you never stole a freight train, huh?
Well, they get to go to the dance of their choice.
Well, there you go. So you're already conceding, huh? I guess they lost. Well, we'll continue this. Maybe they can find a whole bunch of ringers out there.
They're all winners.
What a way with words he's got, huh? So what did you say? Oh, first of all, now Boca Brian, did you talk to him yet?
No, I left him a message, but he has not called me back.
Well, find out how come he didn't send me any disc last week. You jackass. You bald-headed geek. And number 2, what was Carlos just mumbling to me on the intercom when he knows I can't talk back because it goes on the air?
But it's fun that way.
Yeah. Screw you. What did you just tell me about?
Oh, we have a new cartoon on the website.
A new cartoon?
Yep.
Cartoon. I thought he was slept with the fishes cartoon. Oh, cartoon.
He sleeps with Jack.
Let's see. Where is it?
Above the other one.
It is?
Yeah.
It looks like one big cartoon.
What the hell are you talking about? There's no cartoon on. Oh, there it is. We got such a long thing on there, man.
Is he still there?
No, he's reading.
Oh, the lesser Achilles. I thought it said lesser Antilles. The lesser Achilles. Well, there's your Achilles heel, W. This is a very disturbing story, by the way. And quit faxing me stuff twice, will you? I know you're trying to be, you know. Yes, you did.
Did not?
You didn't?
What are you talking about?
You didn't fax me this twice? The letter from the fax from Jane and the one from George, or what's his name?
Well, if I did, it was
you apologize profusely.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, this one, though. Tufts Sr. loses award after insult to Elder Bush. Bush 41, George Herbert Walker, whatever you want to call him. As tensions and... This is from the Boston Globe. As tensions and protests mount on campuses over the war in Iraq, Tufts University alumni leaders have revoked an award given to a senior because of her inappropriate and offensive behavior during a recent campus protest to former President George Herbert Walker Bush. Oh, before I get to that, speaking of in the protest rallies in New York, I think it was on Saturday. So they showed the CNN. It was beautiful because as little as I watched them, I just happened to flip over when the reporter was breathlessly talking about the enormous number of people in the streets. And here along comes somebody right behind her, and he's got a big, big poster that says CNN is bullshit. I loved it. And boy, I tell you, it was right there for you to see, but the camera panned off of that like the cameraman got hit by a grenade. And then a little bit later, a kid walked right up to the camera. Before him, there was one that said impeach Bush. They held up the sticker in front of the camera. Another kid came by and flipped off the cameraman. It was great. Anyway, Tufts University, the university's alumni association, an independent group with close ties to its Tufts leaders, has accused the student Elizabeth E. Monin of making a vulgar hand gesture at Bush as he chided her and other protesters who disrupted his remarks about the 1991 Gulf War.
All right.
Alumni officials said the gesture and other jeers made Monin ineligible for the association's senior award, one of the highest student honors on campus. The non-monetary award is given for academic achievement and potential for leadership. Tufts President Lawrence Bacow was briefed about the alumni group's decision but was not involved in it. Tufts and alumni officials be saying. How do you like that? So obviously she's an honor student, was getting an honor for her academic awards and potential for leadership, obviously a brilliant girl, but because she flipped off, gave the bird to the ex-pres there, who's a real asshole, right away, well, we can't give you that award anymore. Sorry, honey.
I think she's a dishonor student.
What a crock of crap. We ought to take a poll. Who are the biggest blue noses in the world? University of Miami or Tufts, or then we'll find some other ones. We'll work on that. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T. Oh, there's that helicopter.
There is a risk to your own troops, certainly, but in this war where there's such a sensitivity to collateral damage, those rockets, that cannon fire can hit what you don't want intended to hit.
And as we're seeing now, of course, the Americans did lose a helicopter in the field overnight.
Yes, they did. The Apache is a good aircraft, but it's a bit of a hangar queen. When it works well, it works terrific. But unlike the Russian-built Hind or anything like that, you can fire at these things with small arms and bring them down.
Did he say it was a hangar queen? I think I knew him. What just happened to you? Did you disappear?
No, I'm right here.
Oh, you became speechless there for a second. I thought
I was trying to figure out the answer to the question, which I don't know.
What is the answer to the question?
What's the question?
567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. We got the Mad Dog at 1. Hank from Shula's at 3 o'clock. Panthers and the Devils. Any interest?
No.
At the Macarena tonight, one of the last home games. They actually scored a goal, I think, in each of the last 2 home games, didn't they? They scored one against Ottawa and one against whoever they lost to before that. They're doing it, baby. Oh! Go Panthers, man. And Mike Keenan, you won't see him no more after this year. Here's Davey. Hello. Davey. Probably gone, don't you think? Well, they're not going to hold on this long. I mean, I've been rambling and reading, but that's just the way it goes, okay? During these precarious times, we're going to, play it by ear. Put on whatever we think is important at the time, like the Hot Photos contest. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line as Neil continues pumping those numbers, looking for signs of life. We're at war. There are kids in body bags over there, and people are dying. Little kids are getting butchered up, and the South Florida audience has gone blah, 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 and you wonder why there's no big protest in South Florida? Either way. You're talking la-la land, man, where it's 95 degrees in the shade every goddamn day now. It's only the end of March. Where people's brains are fried if they ever had any in the first place. What a place, man. What a place. Let's call up C-SPAN and all the other networks and get them in there.
Right.
So they can record all the tremendous responses from the South Florida audience. Here's a call from Palm Beach Gardens. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I respect the heck of our troops, even though they can't read a map and will drive right into enemy territory. But it drives me up a wall when I hear on TV that this war is for our freedom. How does that correlate to our freedom?
Beats the hell out of me.
I mean, if you went over and killed Osama bin Laden, that's more for our freedom than anything else.
Uh-huh.
It's just the slant that Fox puts on it. It's just I about gag if I ever turn
don't watch. Please, do yourself a favor. Don't watch that crap again. It'll rot your brain.
I turned around this morning after CNN, and my wife was in the other room. She just stuck her head out. She goes, "What are you listening to?" Because it's so much different than anything else you listen to. It's so one-sided.
Just keep in mind, the F in Fox stands for fascism.
What's the chances in a country of 260-some million people that 3 people from one family can be 2 of them president and 2 of them governor?
Yeah.
It's not money, though, is it? It doesn't have anything to do with it.
No, it couldn't be. It couldn't be anything corrupt going on there.
They're just great leaders, of course.
That's it.
Family. Have a great day.
And back to you. So I think I ought to play the Michael Moore clip again, don't you?
Definitely. Over and over again, if you ask me.
Well, not over and over again. Well, wait a minute. First I got to do this, and then I got to do that, and then I got to press the button up, and then...
I've invited my fellow documentary nominees on the stage with us, and we would like to... They are here in solidarity with me because we like nonfiction. We like nonfiction, and we live in fictitious times. We live in the time where we have fictitious election results that elects a fictitious president. We live in a time where we have a man sending us to war for fictitious reasons, whether it's the fictition of duct tape or the fictitious of orange alerts. We are against this war, Mr. Bush. Shame on you, Mr. Bush. Shame on you. And any time you've got the Pope sticking against you, your time is up.
His time was up. They got that music blaring, man.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't just drag him off the stage. Of course, that would take 2 guys to do it, I guess. Big guy.
Yeah.
Nice going there, Michael Moore.
Oh!
Our kind of guy. I say let's elect him president.
Absolutely, right now.
Huh? Oh, but then he'll take away all our guns. Good. Good. A country, like I said before 1,000,000 times, a country that places so little value on human life can never be a great country.
Hey, you don't want me to fax along this another priest sex scandal story, do you?
Oh, I don't care. Just keep it, for old time's sake. Remember what the Godfather said to Santino, a man who doesn't take care of his family.
Mm-hmm.
A man who doesn't spend time with his family can never be a real man. Same thing with the U.S. and violence and with killing people. Life, it's just like cockroaches, man, human life. And it's, like I said before, it's like a video game, and we're sitting watching these images on the TV, and there's one bleeding little kid and the bleeding 5 soldiers, which I still say I have no idea why they're so sensitive. I mean, it's a grotesque piece of thing, but we've seen it all 1,000,000 times before.
We only want to see their carcasses.
I see. Well, we've already seen plenty of those, as a matter of fact. Nobody complained about that.
Not enough.
Oh, a few thousand more. That's one question I would love to ask. How many people have to die to make these people who are supporting this war happy? How many people need to die? No, I think about 3,000. Then they would say, see, they got 3,000 of ours, let's get 3,000 of them. Even though they didn't do it.
It's got to be 3-for-1 ratio.
Well, let's just kill 3,000 people in general. It'll make us feel better about 9/11, even though this has nothing to do with 9/11. But America collectively wants to feel better. They want to feel better about that because we got nailed, so let's go out and kill some people. Yeah.
He could sell those weapons to Al-Qaeda.
To Al Goldstein?
Well, in that
17 till noon at 560 WQM. If you want to get your carpets looking just like brand new without forking out a big bunch of cash, Dry Concepts are magicians, man. Just like, what's his name says? Ozzy Osbourne says you're a couple of bloody magicians.
Is that what he said?
That's what he said. Bloody magicians. I love that spot. Anyway, Dry Concepts technicians are fully trained and schooled and certified. They know their crap, and they dry clean your carpets unlike anybody else in the world. It's an exclusive, patented method. That's why I've used them in my house for over 21 years now. And once you use them the first time, you'd never dream of calling anybody else or schlepping home a bunch of carpet cleaning stuff from the supermarket. They do a miraculous job. They make your carpets look and feel just like brand new. They smell lemony fresh. They dry in a couple of hours. And everybody will think you just went out and spent a fortune for brand new carpeting. They also do an unbeatable job of cleaning your upholstery, leather furniture, expensive area rugs, etc., and so on. And if you have problems with pet odors and mildew odors caused by water damage, Dry Concepts will perform their magic on those too. So you owe it to yourself and your carpets to use these people once. You'll be pleased as punch. And don't forget, no matter what you have them do for you, they give you a written guaranteed price before they start the job. No surprises at the end. Call Dry Concepts toll-free from anywhere. Call 1-800-248-5071. 1-800-248-5071, or log on to their website at dryconcepts.com. Don't forget, with Dry Concepts, you clean today and entertain tonight.
Live and local. This is 560. The radio's all yours now. QAM.
Push to move!
And so, we got yet another installment of the spectacular Mo Howard and David in the show. We got Jay Fiedler coming up as a very special guest. And after that, we got another very special guest coming up tomorrow. That will be Jay Fiedler. Mm-hmm.
Hey, what are you doing, Mo? Mo? What are you doing? Mo!
I'm clipping my nose hair. What's it to you?
You just can't do a morning show and cut your nose hairs.
And what are you gonna do about it, huh? It's my show. I'll do what I want.
Ow!
Just like I was telling that Sherman tank they called Doreen.
That's not nice.
Ready, me, not nice. You see the size of that broad? Talk about jumbo. Somebody ought to paint yes or no on her ass. The hell does she know about promotions anyway, huh? The only thing she's good for is keeping the farmers happy. Why, I'll bet she can eat an entire ham.
Uh-oh. She's backing in now.
Yeah, I can smell the Prince match of her belly.
You have to go in the air and say those nasty things about me.
How dare you come into my place of business? Don't you know we're live? Like Alcoa Theater.
I've had enough. You pompous-old dead rat-haired, paste-wearing, fossilized, metamucil-filled, motherless...
Now see here, fatso. You're fired.
Hey, you bastard.
Don't come near me.
Oh, I'm going to sit on you. Don't sit on his face. You're going to crush him. In between my buns. I'm getting out of here.
I can't breathe.
Can't breathe, huh? Here, I'm going to give you a blast of fresh air. Inhale this.
What do you say we just drop Mo's bag over Baghdad? Huh? Doreen said it stinks worse than his hairpiece. 11 before noon at 5. She hates you, by the way, Mo. 11 till noon at 5:60. Although I noticed we had kind of like a good setup there today. He was mentioning my name a little bit, talking about you putting the ladder back up.
Yeah.
When he was talking about a ladder on a billboard, I thought he was referring to, of course, God forbid that any of the sports shows other than Joe Rose should knock the Hurricanes. You know, God forbid that we should knock down a Shalala and the University of Miami because God forbid they should take their stupid-ass ball games to someplace else. Who gives a crap, you know what? Who gives a crap? Might actually open up some airtime for something somebody might want to listen to besides a bunch of stupid-ass games. But we do have balls on QAM once in a while. Whenever Greg gets an extra shot of testosterone over the weekend. Think he got a shot?
Quite honestly, we're concerned with taking care of the patient and the series of injuries that the patient presents with. If during the course of their stay here they talk to us about what they were doing at the time,
it's a military news conference on the wounded American soldiers at Ramstein Air Base in Germany. War could be big business for Halliburton, writes Carolyn Koo in Reuters yesterday on the Reuters news service.
Oh, no, not another bedtime story.
Yes.
Good.
Well, I sure sound good today, you know?
All rested.
No, it's losing that weight. You can understand. After I had that stroke, I had this, constant cloudy headache kind of thing, like I was dying over here, you know? And I'm sitting here and I'm eating and and finally I decided a few days ago if I'm going to live, I got to get with it. So I lost 5 pounds in 3 days. You know what I eat?
I give up.
No wise comments. No, seriously, this is going to sound pretty radical. And probably I'll get a call from my mother after I announce this. Because last Monday, my first day I was on vacation and you were on at 9 o'clock. Last Monday I go out to the store, buy a couple of things, come back in at 9:15. My cell phone is ringing. I thought, who the hell is that? I pick up the phone. I hear a voice saying,
Nels, what's wrong? What's wrong?
Can you handle it?
Yeah.
It's never ending. The kvetching never ends. As if I didn't tell her I was going to be on vacation last week. But nevertheless, Ma, so anyway, I have 2 to 3 cheeseburgers a day with no bun.
What's wrong with that?
Pure Atkins. They have these Schaefer's frozen patties, they're really good.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have any crap in them. And I use a slice of low-fat cheese, imitation, whatever hell kind of cheese.
Mm-hmm.
And I cook one of those up with some onions and the cheese, and that's it. That's my lunch, that's my dinner, and if I feel I'll have a third one if I'm real extra hungry. Now that I'm back working again, I'm sure I'll have only 2, one at 1 o'clock and one at 6 or 7. And that's it. And I'm not hungry. I'll tell you one thing about Atkins, seriously. After the first 2 days, if you can get through the first 2 days, it's great because you lose all your appetite for all the sweets and other crap that you're addicted to, but it takes 2 full days. And you do get a little cranky those first couple of days, like, I gotta have it. And then after the first 2 days, it's like you don't even want any of that crap.
You don't just get cranky, you get, lightheaded.
Like I said, lightheaded.
Yeah.
There you go. War could be big business for Halliburton, writes Carolyn Koo on Reuters News Service yesterday. She says, when it comes to making money from war in Iraq, few can match the firepower of the company once headed by Vice President Dick Cheney. Houston-based Halliburton Company can build roads and bridges and camps for American forces. It can transport personnel and provide other logistics. It can fight any fires Iraqi leader Saddam Hussein might set. And after the war, assuming a U.S. victory, it can help restore Iraq's infrastructure and oil production. While questions remain over how much work will boost the company's stock price, Halliburton's KBR Engineering and Construction Division is basically the Corps of Engineers to the U.S. military, said Jim Wickland, an analyst of Bank of America Securities. It's expected that the occupying army's infrastructure could in large part be supplied by KBR, which is, like I said, a division of Halliburton. At the same time, the company's oil field services business, which is second only to Schlumberger Limited, is likely to supply most of the heavy equipment to fight fires that Iraqi forces could set to oil wells and fields as they did in Kuwait during the 91 Persian Gulf War. And should the U.S. emerge victorious, Halliburton, which develops oil fields and drills for oil all over the world, has the connections and businesses to play a major role in rebuilding Iraq and ramping the nation's oil production capacity back up to pre-91 Persian Gulf War levels. They have the businesses, they have the government relationship already well established, and as we all know, Cheney was the CEO. So it makes logical sense, said Dennis Walsh, an equity analyst who covers the energy sector for State Street Research and Management. A Halliburton spokeswoman declined to speculate on what may or may not happen with regard to Iraq. She referred all queries to the U.S. Department of Defense and the U.S. Agency for International Development, which both said that contracts for fighting fires and rebuilding Iraq's infrastructure have yet to be awarded. Neither agency would disclose whether Halliburton had submitted any bids, which we already know they have. Reports earlier this month said that Halliburton won a contract to oversee firefighting in Iraq's oil fields, but that has not been confirmed by either the company or the DOD. It is our information that a contract framework has already been signed, said Wickland, who rates Halliburton a buy and doesn't own any of its shares. And then it goes on to talk about how the stock went up and yada yada. So in other words, war is good for some people like Halliburton and Dick Cheney. How do you like that? War is good. Mm-hmm. Of course, the longer war goes on, like I said before, the more people get upset, more body bags coming back with dead bodies, and more grotesque pictures, and more Tsoros, and more the public support goes down. It dwindles. In fact, I guarantee another day or two like we had yesterday especially, and do you see them retaking those pools again, and they're going to go down and down, just like during every war. See, when you sell the public this bill of goods that it's going to be an antiseptic war, and it's going to be like we got the greatest military, and it's shock and awe, and then you notice in those first couple of days all these great discussions they were having in private with Iraqi leaders, and the Iraqis, the regime was going to fold up, and they were going to have some kind of a compromise, and they were going to just...
The government's
Right.
in disarray.
Guess what?
Remember that?
Didn't happen.
Over and over again, they're in disarray.
So the markets were soaring, and a lot of suckers out there were soaking up stock like it was coming out of a oil well somewhere. And guess what? I don't even dare look again. You know, I'll punch up the Gambling Network one moment here, but let's take a look. Not gonna be, oh, geez, close to 300 points. The Dow's down 281.5. The Nasdaq's down 43. I don't want to look anymore, because especially at that guy's face.
Expects to be able to do on a financial basis until the company.
Yeah. Not looking good, baby. Another thing that Rumsfeld said yesterday. I'm rambling all over the place because things are popping into my mind.
It's all right.
He was excoriating the television network, the Al Jazeera TV network, for showing those pictures of the POWs and the dead bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And he said anybody who shows those has got no conscience and blah, 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 and he was just ripping them an ass for anybody who would dare to put those pictures on. Well, I hate to break the news to him, but the BBC and the CBC both aired all of the footage yesterday. So I guess not only we're going to go to war with Iraq, but also Canada and Britain, which I thought Britons were like our allies, our only major allies in the whole deal. But now I guess we'll have to go to war with them, too, because of the BBC.
They're barbarians.
At the very least, we'll have to knock the BBC towers out so they can't telecast anything. Huh?
Right. It'll be a shock and awe campaign, I heard.
Exactly. When in doubt, knock them out.
We're Sports Radio 560 QAM.
This is Dick Cheney. I like to relax by having Mary Magdalene massage my balls while listening to the Neil Rogers 12 to 1 hour.
Darn it, I told you, don't bother me while I'm in here.
Hi, sir.
Hello?
It's Mickey Mouse.
Oh, Mr. Mouse, good morning. How are you?
What the hell are you doing to me?
Nothing, sir.
You're freaking killing me.
No, I'm not.
I got David Kelly calling me every 3 minutes. Why did we move the practice?
Sir, you told me to move the practice.
I didn't tell you anything. You must have misunderstood me.
No, sir, you said move the practice to Monday.
Hey, listen, butt wipe. I'm the boss. I make the decisions. You take the heat.
Right.
You move the practice.
Okay.
How we doing with it anyway? Hold on.
Right.
Remus.
Yeah, boss.
Shut the hell up. I'm on the phone, Remus. Hi, sir.
Yes, sir. What was your question?
I'm telling you, I'm going crazy over here. Between David Kelly and now Michael Jackson calling me every 3 minutes, I'm going to go out of my freaking mind. Hold on. Remus!
Get in, boss!
Stop it, Remus!
I'm sawing the floor, boss!
Stop sawing the floor, Remus! Remus! What's this in my hand, Remus?
That's your penis, boss!
My other hand, Remus!
Oh, that's the phone, boss.
Right, I can't hear anything, Remus. Stop sawing the floor.
Sorry.
Hi, sir.
Sir, the moves are working out very well. The practice is fourth in its time slot and moving
Fourth
up.
in its time slot? Christ, are we even beating the WB?
Barely.
Oh, my God.
And the Michael Jackson thing was a rating success.
Of course. Hold on a second. Remus.
Yes, the boss.
What the hell are you doing with a harmonica, Remus?
Playing a little song for you.
Don't play it, Remus. I'll jam that thing down your throat. And get that bluebird away from me.
Oh, come on, Bluebird.
I'm allergic. Eisner.
Sir, over 25 million people saw
Shut up, Eisner. Listen.
Yeah.
You see me, what I'm doing here?
Sir, you're on the phone.
I know I'm on the phone. Do you see what I'm doing? Use your imagination for crying out loud. I'm moving my hands up and down, side to side. I'm the puppet master. I say it, you do it. Now Fox is going to air all the stuff that you cut out of the Michael Jackson interview.
But sir, you told me to edit out all that stuff to make him look like a freak.
Puppet master, me. Idiot. Oh. Remus!
Yes, yeah, boss.
What the hell are you doing now?
Fixing the floor, boss.
There's nothing wrong with the floor, Remus. What's this in my ear?
That's your penis, boss.
My other ear, Remus.
Oh, that's the phone, boss.
That's the phone, Remus. Get out.
Come on, Bluebird.
Get out. Eisner?
Yes, sir.
Killing me. Killing me.
I'm sorry, sir.
Killing me.
Sorry.
Killing me softly.
12:04. Lightly killed, isn't that the way we like it?
Right, antiseptic.
Very antiseptic, right. So let's see, on the hot couple contest.
I'll have to take your word for it. This computer just crashed.
Oh, Felipe and his wife have 131. Honey and her man, 55, a fairly respectable second, but ain't going to catch Felipe and his wife. Monica and her man, 37. Henry and Diane, 20. And Bob and Nadine still in last place with 11. But we wish them the best, don't we?
Sure.
And they'll enjoy that free dance. Free dance. What does that mean?
They're not cheap. It's not just a dance. It's a whole party that you get to go to. The
City bet.
Yeah.
Oh, well, why didn't you say that?
It's like
going to like a free dance at one of those places where all the homeless shut-ins go to?
No.
Like
This is
Carla?
going to have lots of flesh. And...
Look at that phone, baby. The phone is smoking.
Oh!
There's not a call on the board. Not one call on the board. Well, they must all be over with rush now to get the real story, the real truth.
Our people in the Iraqi army, whether Special Republican Guard or Fedayeen, who have a lot of allegiance to this.
Oh, you know something? If your computer crashed, maybe our phone is screwed. Oh, I see one ringing.
No.
5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. A rather bizarre response here today, but that's okay. The show is smoking. The audience, as usual, well, they must be smoking something too. How's the other poll coming? The main poll on the main page, on the main thing here? Which of these statements best describes your feeling about the Iraq attack? It's all about oil and world domination, 188. It's long overdue. Let's roll. Oh! 183. It's a grotesque waste of human life, 119. Iraq represented no threat to the USA, 82. It's mostly political, 70. And it's about liberating the Iraqi people, 30. So when you take the percentages, let's see, 31.5%. Have you got something supportive to say about it? Which leaves 68.5% opposed. Speaking of opposed, here's is this an organization, I guess, www.patriotsforpeace.org that you faxed me?
Yeah, I guess.
And they've got, what are these, posters, banners,
I reckon. I was
bumper
hoping you could
stickers?
decipher
I
it.
guess probably all of these things. It says, Florida Patriots for Peace, spread peace visibly everywhere. Are you a patriot? Just stand for peace. Then pass out, and I can't read it because the black background makes it impossible to read. Pass it out. You, let us blanket the state with a message of peace. Boy, if you could see what this looks like. How am I reading this?
No,
Pass it on, act now. This is a local, fast-spreading initiative that will bring national attention. So if you want to find out more about this, just go to their website, patriotsforpeace.org. Got it?
Got it.
Okay. Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
You're reading lies on the air.
Oh, God. He ain't, like I said, he ain't going to be on this show again. What an idiot. Man, this kid, he needs to be rounded up with a goddamn... You know, it's really interesting. Same old stuff. We got the war going on, and the South Florida audience not capable. It's just the same crap. It never stops.
Why isn't he listening
If
to
they were
Rush?
dropping atomic bombs on Fort Lauderdale, it wouldn't be any goddamn different. You got nothing but a bunch of knuckleheads who call this radio station. Morning, noon, and night. It never ends. I guess we exhausted the people. And you notice there wasn't one person who called who disagreed. And you want to know why? Because just like Greg Reed, they got no balls. No balls. I'll sit here and listen to their bull crap. That doesn't mean I'll agree with it, but I'll let them have their say, unlike them who would like to have everybody on the air doing the ditto head crap. That crap. If it was up to them, all they would have is Rush and Fox News Network, and that would be it. Those would be the two sources for information in America, and that would be the end of it.
Oh, well, don't forget Baba O'Reilly on radio.
No, forget about him. Small potatoes. And you know what's the big impact he's made in the in the marketplace? Zero. Got a 0.0.
The anti-aircraft fire and coalition bombs lighting up the sky and clouds. The CBC's Henry Champ is following developments in Washington and joins us
Let's
now.
hear Henry from CBC.
Henry, this was certainly a tough weekend for coalition forces.
Now, we already heard that. Okay, let's take a call from Boca. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I knew you picked the wrong week to be off last week. I've been dying to hear your opinion about this war for a week now, and you didn't let me down.
Okay.
But anyways, did you see one of the Iraqi leaders they interviewed, or they were showing him on CNN last night, and he says, these soldiers, I mean, I disagree about the first part, but the second part was good. He says, the soldiers are a bunch of madmen led by a president who's a madman and a drunk. And I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, and don't forget cokehead as well.
Mm-hmm.
It was just too much, you know. Here's the guy.
Yeah, but look, anything comes from these Iraqi scumbags. I mean, they deny every single thing that goes on. They didn't have any, there were no Iraqi POWs. I mean, they're just a bunch of lunatics. So, you know, what goes around.
Of course. One last thing. Neil.
Yes, sir.
All right, very good.
5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Here's a call from Weston. Hello.
Yeah, one thing to say about this war. All right.
There's another war guy. That's what he's got to say about it.
All right.
See what I'm saying about the thoughtful hawks out there? Yeah,
Right.
they're thoughtful, man.
He
They
told
got a
us.
real. Let's go kill some people, baby. Let's go bring some kids back in body bags. Make this guy feel better. Asshole. And by the way, speaking of Weston, I'm going to do about 6 hours on the Cleveland Clinic one of these days. Don't ever go there.
Okay.
I have in the other room, in my living room, I have a piece of paper, a sheet of paper that if I really had the balls, speaking of people with balls, I'd be a multimillionaire. I mean, you talk about malpractice. You talk about just total ineptitude. You know when I had this stroke thing?
Right.
And the doctor puts me on the treadmill. I mean, it's just amazing. I'll give you just a little tidbit. You know how they have to send you an evaluation report after you go to the emergency room?
Correct.
He writes in there that the patient has no history of TIA or stroke. Now, do you think that I forgot to write that down or tell him that? No. Mention that at least 3 times.
I think everybody knows that.
But you see, it would have been kind of embarrassing for him to admit knowing that when he puts me on the treadmill for a stress test.
Right.
The same day that I show up there. Yeah, my heart's great. I got a good squeeze. Well, that's great. Squeeze this, Doc, okay? Cleveland Clinic. Every experience I've had, both at the one on McNabb Road where they used to be and now the new one in Weston, is an unmitigated disaster. If I still had a dog, which rest in peace, I don't, but I wouldn't send them there. I'll tell you that right now. Disgrace. And, of course, the great claim to fame. Well, they're the doctors for the Panthers. No wonder the Panthers are sticking the joint out. No wonder they can't win at home. Good golly, Miss Molly. The Cleveland effing Clinic, man, they make me want to puke. Here's a call from Miami Beach. Hello.
Hi, Neil. How are you?
Okay, sir.
Listen, the only good thing for me that came out of this war so far is I went out to the track yesterday at Gulfstream. Joe Crocker was out there, and I'm looking at the program, and there's one race. One horse is called Showdown, and the other horse is called Who's Crying Now. So the only thing I could think of
Okay, great. Call Hank and talk about it, okay? Old Cocker from Gulfstream. Don't put any more old cockers on there, Carlos. Just when you were starting to redeem yourself, you got that nice big bonus check coming from me when I come back. But a couple of more calls like that, it could, vanish into thin air, you know?
Make sure nobody else gets on.
That's
that old.
Nobody over the age of 100. Old Cocker's talking about the track, man. Talk about a tune-out. Call up the Humper. He'll talk to you about it. How's the Humper doing? Have you seen him lately?
I saw him last week.
Did he lose an ounce or two? Get with it, Hank. I'm telling you. We're getting to that point. We're right on the edge. Right on the line, man. 12 minutes, pretty soon we're going to sound like that last guy that called. 12 minutes past noon at 560 WQM. Do you have $2,000 or more on a credit card? If the answer is yes, then listen to this. Dedicated Consumer Counseling will help you, and it'll cost you nothing. That's right, it'll cost you zippo, nada, zippity-doo-dah. Dedicated is a non-profit company that'll contact the companies you owe money to, and they'll cut your payments in half. Call 1-800-4-NO-DEBT. That's the number 1-800, let me say it again, 1-800, the number 4, and the letters NODEBT. Dedicated will help you cut your interest rate, eliminate late fees, and save your credit, and will cost you Zippo. The bank pays Dedicated, and you pay nothing. So if you're tired of battling credit card debt, call Dedicated today, and check this out. Call 1-800-4-NO-DEBT. Call and find out how Dedicated can help you. You got nothing to lose. If you've had it with credit card debt, high interest rates, and late fees, call these folks, Dedicated Consumer Counseling, and they'll be handling it from there for you. Call right now, 1-800-4-NO-DEBT, and don't forget, it costs you nothing.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560, QAM.
Jim Mandich, I am a pussy. The axis of evil. You've heard about it, but until now, you've only heard half the story. Now, you can experience the softer side of evil when you join the Axis of Evil fan club. Not that kind of club, Saddam.
Oh, sorry.
The Axis of Evil fan club has already been approved by the entire population of France. And when you join, we'll send you an autographed 8x10 glossy of one of the evil but lovably wacky nutjobs who runs Iran.
Dear infidel, best wishes for an untimely death you so very much deserve. Regards, your loving mullah.
Plus, when you join the Axis of Evil fan club, the dog-eating evildoers of North Korea will include a beautiful Axis of Evil t-shirt with this peace-loving message.
Check it out. It says, I joined the Axis of Evil fan club, and all I got was this lousy t-shirt, so therefore I deserve to die. Whoa, that's so cool!
And best of all, joining is easy. Send no money. Just keep questioning the wisdom of naming names in the war on terrorism, and you're a member. of the Axis of Evil fan club. Join today.
It's 12:16 at 560 WQ. This thing you just faxed to me about this Leesburg, Florida congressman. Yeah. Garbage.
Okay.
He's afraid the media is tipping off the enemy. He didn't like Peter Jennings because Peter wasn't goose-stepping enough for them. I guess I don't watch ABC News under penalty of death, so I don't have any idea what Peter Jennings was doing or saying. But evidently he took flack from the Fox people and the real right-wing nutcases. Which is amazing to me because he's all over the place, Peter Jennings. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised it wasn't Dan Rather, although Dan is still a little choked up. Huh? Yeah, he's still a little choked up. And in fact, it's funny I mentioned that because he almost did lose it again. It was like, I don't know, I guess after the first day of the war, the first couple of American casualties, and he came very, very close. He was like right on the edge. I thought, oh no, Dan, not again, please. We already got Brokaw just losing it completely on NBC. Not again, Dan. But he managed to hang on. One of the things about CBS coverage, though, I noticed in flipping around the first couple of days was very sterile. It was an awful lot of just Dan sitting in the studio, and seeing, the nightline of Baghdad in the background. Yeah. And various shots of the troop movement and stuff like that. And it was sterile. I guess they didn't have enough guys embedded over there. Seriously, if I ever hear that expression one more time, I'm going to blow somebody's brains out because, oh my God. But I'm ecstatic that guy called a moment ago because there is a classic example of some real good dialogue and real good justification for the war. All right. Excellent.
The hospital, and by now it's around 300 casualties that have been treated at those hospitals in the past few days. One other matter of concern for us is, of course, the fact that water pumping stations should be kept in working condition. And there is right now a crisis in the south, in the city of Basra, where 1.9 million people have not had access to drinking water since Friday afternoon because the electrical high voltage cables have been cut by some of the bombardments.
Well, it certainly sounds like it's been a long and harrowing day so far.
Okay, straighten out your phone line. That's a guy from the International Red Cross in Baghdad. And more on that, which is on our website. Water and electricity supplies have been cut off in southern Iraq city of Basra for more than 2 days, threatening a humanitarian disaster, warns the Red Cross. I thought we were supposed to be bringing food and helping these people out.
Well, that's after.
Neither source has been available since Friday, meaning water or electricity, potentially crippling hospitals and services all through the Basra, which is the second largest city in the country, by the way, after Baghdad. Electricity cables powering the major Wafa al-Qaid water station, which supplies 2 million people and is the biggest source in the region, have been destroyed. The Red Cross says the station is under the control of the U.S.-led forces, and negotiations are ongoing to try to set up emergency generators. Florian Westphal for the Red Cross said, we have not been able to gain access to the main water station today, so we'll try to do the same thing again tomorrow. This was yesterday. 60% of the local population are still without access to a regular water supply, which could develop into a gigantic humanitarian crisis. We are really, really going to try and gain access to the supply and do anything we can to repair it. But as you heard just a seconds ago from the Red Cross guy in Baghdad, it ain't happened yet. Oh, brother. But it's just going to be real simple and anesthetic and bada bing, bada boom, and a piece of cake, see? That's the way it's going to be.
Their government's in disarray.
Yeah, that's right. We're negotiating right now. They're all going to surrender, yada, 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 in a partridge in a pear tree. And don't you dast and show those pictures. They violated the Geneva Convention. Dow is down 278.5 points. The Nasdaq's down 43.5 points. What's Ricky Ticky Sanchez? Oh, my God, he was just on the gambling network.
There's been oil for obvious
reasons. For just a second or two, he must have been given like one of those news briefs, and he was squatting. I thought I heard one of those. Yeah, from Ricky Ticky Sanchez. Good God. One more good reason never to turn on the gambling channel. Dangerous. Here's a call from Sunrise. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to chime in a little bit about this whole thing. It seems to me that the person that attacked this country, the Osama bin Laden people and the people that did what they did to the World Trade Centers, I liken it to somebody who got jumped in a bar fight. The United States got their butt kicked in a bar fight, and they didn't know exactly who to retaliate to, so they picked somebody that they thought would be the token.
Well, wait a minute. Let's slow down a second. Didn't we go to Afghanistan and knock the Taliban out of power and beat the crap out of them and get a whole bunch of Al-Qaeda prisoners and stick them all down there in Gitmo? Didn't we do that?
We did, but you know what? There's one missing ingredient, Osama bin Laden. This country cannot bring to justice the person who needs to be brought to justice, and they're picking on, through this war, they're picking on a facsimile to satisfy what needs to be done. And,
right.
and
that's right. That's absolutely right.
It's done under that guise, but it's done for control of the oil.
They're using 9/11 and the emotion of the public as an excuse, which they already had said this 4 years ago, in 1999, when they set out their policy papers, that was going to require some catastrophic event to get the American people softened up enough to allow them to go into Iraq. And sure enough, it happened.
Well, yeah, but they're doing it, and it's a smokescreen for the American people, and everybody's hearts are still hurting from 9/11, and it's the wrong thing to do. The retaliation for 9/11, I'm all for, and I support all the country's endeavors. But this is it's just a tangent in the wrong direction.
Amen.
I just wanted to put my 2 cents in on that. But
okay, thanks.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. My family and I my family and I support and wish the troops the best, and we want them home. And it's unfortunate that they have to be there, but my family and I support everything that this country does for this country, and without exclusion, without anything. It's a wonderful thing that we have troops, those young kids over there fighting for what we have over here. And in that respect, we support them.
Well, I don't understand, though. They're fighting for what we have over here. I don't get that.
No, they're fighting for our freedoms. Wait
a minute. What does that mean? I mean, I support the troops, too, but they were placed there by the government. They didn't have a choice, but they're fighting for our freedom against what?
Well, wait, maybe I misspoke. What I'm saying is these kids joined the armed services in this country to fight for our country. I know they're not fighting for the right thing right now, but they're told to do what they're given something to do, and they do what they're told to do. And in that respect, I support them. That's what I'm saying. Not the war effort, but the fact that they're overseas and they're doing something that goes against their nature, and then in that respect, you have to support them.
Okay.
And hope that it doesn't take long.
I hope it takes another couple hours and get them back.
I have one more thing to say. Since Rick Sanchez left town, Channel 7's been kind of a okay place to turn, but now they got this guy Ross Lowe on there. Do you know who this guy is?
No.
He's a guy squatting over the map at 6:30 in the morning when I wake up drinking coffee. I got to get him off the Channel 7. I can't.
Okay, program it out and have a great day. I think he could have gone on till midnight. Yeah. Here's a fax that says, I'm a Vietnam veteran. When I hear these military briefings on TV, they begin to sound like the same old battlefield lies. What you're seeing with these real-time TV reports is an army that's mostly inexperienced in battle and led by General Franks, who's committed them to a battle plan that is woefully unsuited to the task. The faxer says, I fear the body count is only going to go higher, but I certainly have confidence in our commander-in-chief. After all, he kept the borders of Texas safe way back when. Yeah, anybody who was dangerous, they just executed him, is what they did in Texas. That's right. They fried their ass.
As planned in Hollywood last night, but the celebrations were muted and a number of the stars called for peace.
Chicago,
which was filmed in Toronto, led the awards. It got 6 Oscars, including Best Picture and Best Supporting Actress for Catherine Zeta-Jones. Best Actress was awarded to Nicole Kidman for The Hours. And Adrian Brody won Best Actor for his depiction of a Holocaust survivor in The Pianist. Filmmaker Michael Moore caused some controversy when he accepted the award for Best Documentary.
We live in a time where we have a man sending us to war for fictitious reasons. We live in fictitious
Moore's producer, Michael Donovan, was one of 4 Canadians to take home an Oscar last night.
All right. 12:25, and don't be booing "Oh Canada" anymore, you assholes down there at the Macarena, you idiots, you imbeciles. See, those are the same people who think that the French Canadians are what Canada's all about. Bunch of idiots. Bunch of people that never got north of the Palm Beach County line. Hey, I'll tell you a place where you can go, and you don't have to go anywhere. Right to your phone and call our friends at Balance for Life, because they'll help you lose that weight. We've been talking a lot about how weight is, being overweight is bad for you. Got a lot of fat people running around this world today, and it'll make you sick. Not only you look like crap, but it'll make you unhealthy. Eventually, you can fool Mother Nature for only so long. Eventually, it'll get to you. Trust me. So lose weight the painless, the simple way with Balance for Life, and the great results the Beast has gotten. He's lost damn near 60 pounds, and he looks almost human now. His head is down to a size 15. No cooking, no shopping, no cleaning, no calorie counting, no carbohydrate counting. Just great, delicious food 3 gourmet meals and 2 delicious snacks every day, which they deliver right to your door in that famous little black sack. Once you got your little black sack, it's like Linus with a security blanket. You know, you got your food for the entire day, and if you eat all of that stuff, it'll keep you full. It's fresh, it's delicious, it's all kind of goodies, and you get to choose between 2 alternatives for each meal every day that you're on the program. It's all based on the principles of the very complex zone diet, but you don't have to worry about figuring it out because they do that for you. So get yourself back into good health and good shape. Lose that weight once and for all. If you tried all the other gimmicks, Balance for Life can do it for you. Call them today. There's no obligation. They'll tell you how the program works. Call 954-568-3229. That's 954-568-3229, or visit their website at balanceforlife.com. In no time at all, you'll look almost as lovely as the world-famous Beast.
Live and local. We're Sports Radio 560 QAM.
I like Neil's poll.
All right.
Wait up, little Georgie, wait up. Chill out, little Georgie, chill out. The people have been polled, and this is what you've been told. By 2 to 1, they don't want war, so put your plans on hold. Wait up, little Georgie.
Yes.
Hold up, little Georgie. Well, why don't we try to get Osama?
No.
Why don't we get Mullah Omar?
No.
What we gonna tell the world when they say no more war? Wake up, little Georgie. Hold up, little Georgie. Well, we know Saddam is really a big threat, but no one wants to see World War III yet. Wait up, little Georgie. Chill out, little Georgie. We ought to stay home. Wait up, little Georgie. Wait up. Chill out, little Georgie. Chill out. Before you send our men, be sure to count to 10. Before you blow the crap out of Iraq, please listen to the UN. Wait up, little Georgie. Hold up, little Georgie.
Too late.
Wait up, little Georgie.
12:32 at 560 WQM, our hot couples contest. Now, what do? We let it go till tomorrow morning, and then we decide who wins?
Yes, and then we will alert them, and we will put more pictures up of the winner since we got a good idea who that's going to be.
Good. Because I think the die is already cast, as they say. Felipe and wife, 147 votes. You can go to neilrogers.com and click on where it says Hot Couples Contest and then vote. Take a perusal of these 5 couples. Felipe and wife, 147. Honey and her man, 58. Honey bears all. Monica and her man, 40. Henry and Diane, 23. And Bob and Nadine?
Bob Marley.
Bob Marley and Nadine Schwartz have 12. In last place. But they're wonderful folks, and we appreciate them doing it, whatever they did. They made an effort. Oh, we're not going to do this priest story, are we? Well, we sure have a lot of open lines on the phone. I'll tell you, this is just a shocker to me. Just amazing. But then again, the people on the other side, which I realize is still a majority of the public, they don't have the balls to confront me and to take it. See, I'm going to say it again. This business of confusing being patriotic, and of course the right-wingers have tried to do that going all the way back to right after 9/11. Oh, the Democrats don't care about, your security. Well, that's a pile of crap, okay? It's a bunch of bull crap. As if one party cares more about us being secure than the other one does. And they haven't stopped ever since. You're either with us or against us. It's that kind of mentality. The good guys and the bad guys.
Oh, and I'm just thinking the leader of our country, who's probably a creationist,
Mm-hmm.
This is...
oh, absolutely. Are you kidding me? Sure.
This is like, the most advanced nation on the earth, and he's like, he's back in the Stone Age himself, and he wants to bomb Iraq back to the Stone Age, and he wants to put us back in the Stone Age, too.
Yeah, he's got a good start, believe me. We're about 2/3 of the way there.
And I'm just like, I don't know, I'm not, I'm my own religion. I'm just, I guess, agnostic, or I don't follow a major religion, so to speak, but he takes it upon himself to lead our people in his holy war. And he said it's not a holy war, but the language that he uses, the evil of Axis and all
right.
this, to me it signifies it's definitely a holy war. And I mean, I don't know what words he
and don't forget about the born again Christians who are saying hallelujah. He's leading us on the road to Armageddon. This is what it's all about.
And we had they had 100,000 people in San Francisco, 200,000 protesters in New York, and we had Beach Fest down here. I don't know.
With an evangelist.
I think you got your thumb right on it, man. Have a great day.
All right. Take it easy.
Thanks. That's a good lead into the story. From Family News in Focus, a website of focus on the family. Hocus pocus, it's the focus on the family. Speaking of right-wing religious nuts. Groups worry over U.S. aid rule in post-war Iraq. This is just astonishing. This is where their priorities are. This is the kind of thing they're worried about. We got people being butchered over there. We got our young men and women, and we got Iraqi civilians and little children bleeding to death and being slaughtered. Una bomba grande. When the military job is finished in Iraq, a liberal-leaning government agency will likely try to push its agenda in Baghdad, this says. This again from Focus on the Family. A right-wing bunch of nuts. American soldiers are on Iraqi soil now trying to liberate the people of Iraq, but when the military battle is over, the battle over a new Iraq will begin, and the social issues in the Islamic nation will take center stage. For months, the State Department has been planning the reconstruction of Iraq. Included in that effort is the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, a government agency that has in the past taken a very liberal approach to helping nations.
Oy!
Steve Mosher, head of the Population Research Institute, is especially wary of USAID and its liberal approach toward the issues of condom use and abortion. As soon as the dust settles after the conflict, USAID will be sending in the condom pushers and the sex educators, Mosher said. There is the view at USAID that we need to remake these societies in the image of Hollywood or in the image of Manhattan, that we need to attack the patriarchal family. USAID told Family News in Focus that their priority will be to provide basic health services to the Iraqi people, and those services will not include condom distribution. However, the fact that USAID has pushed its pro-condom and pro-abortion views in other countries has many conservative pro-family organizations thinking Iraq will be next. And then at the end of this it says, please contact President Bush regarding post-war Iraq. Thank him for his commitment to help the Iraqi nation rebuild, but caution him that the U.S. has no business promoting abortion or condoms in post-war Iraq or imposing programs that will work against the traditional family. Oh, my God.
Oh, God.
Wow. Ties right in with what that caller was talking about. Religious nuts. You know something? If they want to go on the road to Armageddon, have a good life, okay? We'll pack you a goddamn salami sandwich on rye, but we don't want to go. The rest of us we're not parading with you, okay? We're not goose-stepping along the road. By the way, did Boca Brian ever call you?
No. Oh, yeah, he's going to send one. He's sending one today, and another one tomorrow.
So, in other words, that little bald-headed geek didn't send me nothing last week just because I was on vacation, so now I have to wait extra time to get it. What is he thinking about? Did he have to wait extra to get paid? No. Not that I'm pissed off at Brian, because he's been really great lately, but nevertheless, just to keep him on his toes. You know how emotional he gets? I don't want to get him depressed or anything like that. Get that stuff going, Brian, you little geek. God. And that's probably your fault. You got him all whipped up with that Treasure Island stuff. Treasury Island.
We didn't have a Treasury Island.
Well, regardless, that's where his mind is at now. You know, Ussy and it's. Just like Miguel, man. You think a guy like Miguel, no, seriously, you think a guy like Miguel's got a beautiful live-in girlfriend who gets laid 5, 6, 7 times a day. You think that, he'd be satisfied at this point.
Seriously.
Is he satisfied?
No.
That's all he knows from, man.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Who regardless of their situation, doesn't like looking at good-looking bodies and people?
Dead people.
Okay.
Which means a lot in South Florida. Just go to Sunrise. They'll tell you. Sunrise Lakes. Oh, what's that? No more dirty pictures? Show one to Mo. Let's see what he does. Okay, maybe he'll flip it. And his wig, too. Flip his lid. 21 till 1. So the billboard is still up. Oh! I'm thinking that maybe is a promising moment. Maybe Greg has drawn a line in the sand. Maybe he's going to tell Donna Shalala and the U of M.
Don't say sand.
Oh, sorry. I'm serious. Maybe he's finally developed a little bit of intestinal fortitude and said enough is enough. Okay, we're not going to be bullied around by Wacky Jackie or by Donna Shalala or U of M or anybody else. I mean, we've got balls. That's something controversial, Donna. That's what, just like that last thing I read about. That's what she's got to worry about at U of M, is a promotional billboard that says we've got balls that's got a hurricane, dolphin, and panther logo on top. My God, that should be your worst problem ever at the University of Miami, sweetheart. And I'll say it again. I guarantee you, Janet Reno's got a lot bigger pair than you got. Although, 20 till 1 at 560 WQM. For years I've been telling you about the health benefits of Oleomed. I'm taking it for my blood pressure every day and I'm doing great. And I keep telling you about this because, like I said, it really works. Oleomed soft gels contain pharmaceutical-grade olive oil, the best, not ordinary olive oil, but super concentrated, loaded with health benefits, lots of other good stuff in there. Oleomed every day can help reduce the risk of heart disease and high cholesterol. Plus, there are 14 different Oleomed formulas for you to choose from. Each one combines pharmaceutical-grade olive oil with vitamins, minerals, and herbals to support specific needs, from your bones to your blood pressure to the immune system. Just choose the formulas that are right for you. And now there are 3 new Oleomed formulas, one to help you sleep, one to help you control that weight, and Cell Q10 for your heart. You'll find Oleomed at Publix, Eckerd's, Walgreens, Whole Food Markets, Navarro's, and Sedano's, or order it online if you like, oleomedamerica.com. For info, call them toll-free 1-866-OleoMed. That's 1-866-653-6633. Get your Oleomed today and start feeling a hell of a lot healthier. And if you're planning on attending the NASDAQ tennis tournament this week, make sure you stop by the Oleomed booth. They'll be giving away free samples and raffling away gift baskets packed with Oleomed products so you can start popping it in your puss right away.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560. QAM.
You go back to Canada, you Jew bastard.
This old man, Dick Cheney, he had angioplasty, had a heart attack, paddle whack, got him a pulse tone. Next time he's not coming home. Hey, kids, did you like that? Well, let's do another one, this time with the president's This nitwit, his name's Bush. He's a hemorrhoid in the tush. He picked a guy who would die so he'd be alone. There's nothing in his empty dome.
Top 45, the crooks are taking over, boys and girls. First they stole the election, and now they're like plundering and looting, for fun and profit. And killing.
That they are facilitated in that, and I hope they will be facilitated by both sides in the current war.
Can you look ahead for me a little bit? What are your major concerns about the reconstruction of Iraq down the road?
I suppose the immediate concern is the humanitarian situation. We know that more than 60% of the population of Iraq is extremely vulnerable, and they have been dependent on the oil for food program. They are now in a situation where they must have terrible problems of having access to food, to water, to sanitation facilities.
So yeah, we're going to liberate you. We're going to come in and bomb the crap out of your country and cut down the oil and electricity and do all of these wonderful things. Isn't that good?
We're going to liberate them to death.
We'll give you so much freedom you'll die from it. How do you like that? Exactly.
Liberating
so why
them
did
from
somebody
life.
fax me this Mike Mayo column? Did he actually say something or what?
I don't know.
He didn't say crap. The battle within splits hearts and minds. And he goes on about the acrimony about those who support and those who are against. Well, he's right about that, but, he reads things in the paper, see those comments from some Democrats. Oh, this is somebody talking to him. He's so anti-American, Peter Jennings, I scream back at the TV, why don't you go back to Canada, you bum? How do you like that for timing, huh? Because Peter Jennings, he is Canadian, so therefore, since the Canadians are in it...
Why don't you go back to Canada, you Jew bastard?
He ain't Jewish, okay, that's why. Jackass. Yeah, so Mike Mayo wrote some crap, okay, as usual. How you doing, Mike? Pretty weak column. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T. How's Clarence doing, by the way? Is he laying low, or is he flying under the radar, speaking of the war?
I haven't seen him today.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, laying low. And by the way, payday is tomorrow, Clarence. I just mentioned that in passing to make sure, since it's one of his really big assignments.
What are you going to in a timely fashion this time, please?
Yeah, hey, that's right. Let's let Carlos, I know that my stuff's been showing up on time, which is damn well better tomorrow in the mail. But Carlos, last time, had to get dicked around all day, And he's getting tired of getting dicked around. As a matter of fact, speaking of Dick Cheney, you know how he's always there, everybody's complaining, where the hell is the vice president? We can't find him.
Right.
Everybody's looking for Dick Cheney. So I put a big sign on my door here just in case he comes up to Canada that says, looking for Dick. Here's a call from Hollywood. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, is Mike Moore a faggot like you?
Yeah, he's not a faggot. No, I'm sorry. He's a heterosexual faggot. See, there you go again. Like I said, there's two.
Yeah,
there's two. Only you faggots that are against this war. That's right. All the heterosexual population of the world is in favor of butchering up a whole bunch of innocent people. Right.
Right, like the mom and dad that just lost their soldier boy.
Right, exactly. 5'6", and poor Michael Moore, man, he's really got service, don't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just got an Oscar last night. Oh, boy. But that's what you're dealing with. That's what you did. A bunch of rednecky, gun-toting, right-wing morons, man. That's it. That's what he's got. And the religious nuts, which many are the same, crossover.
I love eating nuts.
Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Neil, God.
Yes, sir.
Hey, something before I talk about the religious influence on the administration.
I can barely hear this call, Carlos. Pot it up.
Hey, remember the situation with Publix a couple of years ago where they wanted to play upbeat, background music, and one old, bogey complained.
Yeah.
And they took the music off. It's the same
Sure.
thing with Shalala. I mean, they're just so spineless. You know, I guess.
I mean, can you believe a bunch of crap like that? Here's the woman who's supposed to be this big, respected national figure, and she was the secretary of HHS.
Exactly.
And she's got no sense of humor. She's all sensitive about a joke of a billboard. We got balls having to do with sports that every sports station in America, sports radio station uses as a logo. We got balls, and she's getting bent out of shape about it.
Exactly. The main point I wanted to make was supposedly in the issue of Time magazine that's coming out today, there's supposed to be an article. I believe it may even be the cover story that talks about the idea of the people like Pearl, like Wolfowitz, having this idea that Providence is what's guiding them to go in and take care of the good versus evil aspects of Iraq. And I
thought we were in Iraq, not Rhode Island.
Exactly. Also, the other article I wanted to refer you to, in last week's New Yorker, there was a great article by Seymour Hersh, who's a great writer, who talked about...
Yeah, but, Seymour Hersh, him and about 40 cents buy a half a cup of coffee. He writes more crap. I would like to... I have it sitting right here, as a matter of fact, but if I remember...
What about Pearl in Saudi Arabia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he does. I mean, the whole thing with the Korean plane and all of that. Yeah, I mean, you have to kind of read him carefully. But
Seymour Hersh takes about 50%. He takes about 50% truth and then weaves it in with about 50% fiction. And Pearl is even suing him for that book, by the way. Although, who the hell cares?
Yeah, what does that say, right?
Yeah.
Thanks, Neil.
Thanks a lot. Let me say it again: Project for the New American Century. Check it out. In fact, they have their own website, PNAC. Look it up, do a search for it, or just, do a search. Project for the New American Century. They got their own website, and they'll explain to you in glorious detail, ad infinitum, their whole glorious plans. This was 4 years ago they wrote all this crap up. The Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld, and Wolfowitz, and the Pearl crowd. It's pretty sad, pretty scary. And what's even more scary is that a bunch of dodo birds like the two we've had today. You see, you can have any opinion you want. I have no problem with that. The show is almost over. We've been on almost 4 hours, and we had one person with a cogent, a realistic argument in favor of this war. No. Not one. Here's Linda in Boca who says to the young 18-year-old guy named Jason who's pictured in the Sunday Sun Sentinel as a war supporter, your sign says that you're for our troops, for our president, for our country. So put your butt where your mouth is and listen, go over to Iraq with the other 18-year-olds you're supporting to do the dirty work for you while you hold up signs and little American flags. Excellent point, Linda. Oh! Very good. Beauty. Yeah, he's, his fellow countrymen, 18, 19, 20 years old, a lot of them are going to come back in body bags. He's running around waving placards and signs. Nice going, Jason, you putz. 12:51 at 560 WQAM. Hey, all you dog lovers out there, you're out at work all day long. What's your dog doing? Can't turn on the TV, can't call and talk to me, can't even turn on the radio. And going to the park alone is probably out. Dogs need their friends, too. That's why you should treat your dog to the best pet resort in the entire state of Florida and probably in the world. Bark Avenue Pet Resort. It's the only all-natural pet resort in the country. It's like having a day at the spa for your dogs. Your pooch will socialize all day with pals and gals in the soft matted play areas and always under the supervision of dog-loving counselors, too. Bark Avenue is a full-service 5-star resort offering boarding in large tiled suites. They offer daycare, expert grooming on all breeds, too. When you see a place like I got... Oh, I see what this is. It's a weak piece of copy. Whose is it? Oh, Troy, what do you expect? When you see the place, you're going to be very impressed with the cleanliness and the lack of odor. Believe you me, it won't be like my living room used to be. And you'll also be impressed with the 10,000 square foot luxury facility, too. In fact, you can bet if Tiny was still alive, he'd be there right now. Rest in peace. See for yourself what Bark Avenue is all about. Go online at barkavepetresort.com and take a virtual tour, which you can also do while your pets are there, by the way. When you're on vacation, you can check them out online. Or take a real tour at Bark Avenue any Monday through Saturday at 1400 South Federal Highway in Hollywood, just one light north of Pembroke Road. Call Bark Avenue at 954-925-BARK. That's 954-925-BARK for boarding, grooming, and daycare. Bark Avenue Pet Resort.
Live and local. This is Sports Radio 560. QAM.
Greg hates you.
King Bush. King Bush.
I stumble and I bumble just to talk is really hard. Without pre-written notes from Carl Rover, Andrew Card.
King Bush.
My brain is made of doo-doo.
King Bush.
But that don't seem to bug you.
Has no opposition and you have no opinion, King Bush.
his pulse pretty high. I'm outraged by the sudden wave of white-collar crime. Unless, of course, the CEOs are old friends of mine.
King Bush.
God says let Osama go.
King Bush.
That Harry Fleischer, he's a homo.
The Saudis, they attacked us, but who don't give a crap? It's King Bush.
It's 'cause they're our friends. Rest assured, we're in pursuit of evildoers every day. Just like those drug lords being pursued by O.J.
King Bush.
You don't care what I'm doing.
King Bush.
And I thought I was stupid.
The media controls you. You do what you're told to King Bush.
If you didn't see it on TV, it ain't true. The media's in our control with stories they're spinning. No matter what goes wrong, we'll just blame it all on Clinton.
King Bush.
I don't have no interns going down.
King Bush.
I'm on a higher moral ground. Besides, I wouldn't know how.
He's a moral grounder and a bug founder, King Bush.
Oh! 12:57 at 560 WQM. Sunny and 52 right now. We're going to make it to 58 today. How do you like that?
Okay.
I bet you would like it as opposed to like 98.
Well, if it was like it was this morning, but I'm sure it's not anymore.
I doubt it. I doubt it. So they just had a piece from Britain.
Mm-hmm.
Where they were interviewing little kids in school, like middle school age kids, like 7 and 8 and 10, whatever.
Yeah.
And they were, asking them for their comments on all the images that they're seeing on TV, and they're saying, well, the pictures come on, and we see all of this fighting and the bombs, and the voices come on, and it's like they're describing a game, a war game.
Right.
And that's exactly right. That's the way and of course they're watching the BBC, so God only knows what if they would see the American networks.
With our cool CNN graphics.
Right, that's right. And of course those orange alerts and all the other, the 85 different lines that you have to read at the same time. The Dow is down about 278 points, by the way, and the Nasdaq's down about 45. Not looking too good. Like I told that guy, don't count your, profits before they're hatched is what I would tell you right now, before an orange snatch. Because now that things aren't going quite as smoothly, it's not going to be a piece of cake. It's not going to be like a walk in the park. And all of a sudden people say, uh-oh, you mean we got people dying over there? Uh-oh, you mean it's going to be more? See, the 80 million all of a sudden in an hour this morning, you notice, went up to 90 million. That was just in an hour. And keep in mind, that's just for starters.
Right.
Okay? When you're starting to talk about rebuilding the infrastructure and all the humanitarian aid and all of this other stuff that's going on, and I realize the UN is, isn't that interesting also that we're thumbing our nose at the UN and we're saying that they're no longer relevant, at least W is, they're no longer relevant, but when it's all over, we'd be delighted to have them come in and help us with all the humanitarian. What are you laughing about? That's exactly what he's saying. We don't want to foot the bill ourselves and do all of that work ourselves. So in other words, screw you, but when we need you, we'll call you, is basically what he said to the UN.
Call me when the party starts.
Exactly. We'll let you know when we got our job done, then you can come in and suck up the rest, pick up the drippings. Speaking of bizarre things, this story from the Sun Sentinel just amazes me. Lionel Tate's case to be presented at UN Human Rights meeting. The case of Lionel Tate, who was 12 and he was sentenced to life in prison without parole for killing a 6-year-old girl, is being taken to the United Nations Human Rights Commission, the Reverend Thomas Masters said yesterday. Masters plans to present Tate's case this week to the commission, which meets in Geneva, Switzerland. He says he'll ask the commission to intervene on behalf of Tate and claim that his sentence is a violation of his human rights. He's president of Under Our Wings, a group working to eliminate the adult prosecution and punishment of children. The group has taken the cases of Tate and Nathaniel Brazil to the Vatican. How do you like that?
Well, that'll solve it.
No comment. I mean, what's there to say? Especially Nathaniel Brazil. You know what I mean? No way, Jose. Okay, we got out of time. 242 say the war is all about oil and world domination. It's long overdue. Let's rule. 210. It's a grotesque waste of human life. 132. Iraq represented no threat to the USA. 97. It's mostly political. 83. And it's about liberating the poor Iraqi people. We got how many? 34. Mad Dog is next. Hank coming up from Shula's at 3.
Bye. The Neil Rogers Show on 560 WQAM, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
This is the beast, a fat Jew.